subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Okay, Dad. What the hell is this Chen Fang doing? Naval headquarters, Marshal's office. Sengoku tapped on the table in doubt. The last auction didn't yield anything, which made him worry about it all the time. Especially those members of the government spy organization were wiped out, and they got nothing but a judgment on Chen Fang's character. The large amount of materials that were finally approved were taken away by the five elders. Doing tasks and earning resource points should be true. Do we want Marine to participate? Don't worry. This matter has to be discussed in the long run. Sengoku waved his hands, showing a deep expression. Doing tasks and earning resource points is a good way. If we have time, we can go and have a look. Inside the Revolutionary Army, Sabo said with a smile while looking at the information about the Tiantian Auction House. If necessary, it's not impossible to go. Long said calmly. Could it be that there's still a mission to go to the Tiantian Auction House? Sabo asked. The model of the Tiantian Auction House is definitely an unprecedented phenomenon. There must be times when we need to go. Long said slowly, looking at the distant sea. He couldn't help but sigh. It's really amazing that you can go to another world through a door. Who says it's not? At first, I thought the Auction House of the Heavens was a liar, but unexpectedly, it became a key point to change the situation in the sea. Anything that I don't understand, as long as it happens in the Auction House of the Heavens, I think it's normal. Sabo's right hand turned into magma, and an ice blade appeared in his left hand. In normal times, who can believe that these two abilities can be concentrated in one person? After this auction, his strength has skyrocketed, and he can definitely rank among the world's first class. This is him who has just become familiar with his ability, and no one knows how far he can develop it in the future. The situation of the Revolutionary Army has changed. Chapter 42, The Whitebeard Pirate Saw Operation. Here are 4 tickets. You can go in with the tickets, and just click when you come out. A few days later, Whitebeard and others also landed on the island and found Chen Fang. After getting the tickets from Chen Fang, Whitebeard and the others simply stepped into the portal. Is this the zombie world? It looks like it's all land. As soon as the few people landed, they felt a completely different feeling from Pirate World. This should be a zombie. As soon as a few people appeared, they immediately attracted the attention of a large number of zombies. Ace threw out a fire fist casually, and a zombie was instantly killed. It seems that the strength is not strong, but the resource points have really increased. As long as they are involved, Chen Fang will open a resource point account for them. As long as the zombies are killed, the resource points can be updated in time. Ace looked at the 3 additional resource points in his account. His eyes were delighted. Then let's get started. Jaws was not idle either. The bone spurs on his arms extended into 2 long knives. At this time, a range attack with sufficient power is extremely important. Like Whitebeard, Whitebeard only needs to stand in place and wave his fist easily, and a large number of zombies will fall down. Let's act separately first and gather outside the door in a day's time. Whitebeard gave the order, and Ace and the others immediately moved in all directions. As expected of Whitebeard, efficiency is high. Chen Fang and Rayleigh were drinking. Looking at the rising resource points, they were in a good mood. Sure enough, he still had to find someone, and it was completely thankless for him to kill alone. A day later, Whitebeard and others showed up at the door, immediately attracted the attention of a large number of pirates. Whitebeard left the scope of the auction house with a satisfied smile on his face. Ace, Jaws, and Marco are powerful. Even if it is only a day, they have already earned more than half of it. Whitebeard is even more terrifying. Not only did he earn back all the ticket money, but he also earned an extra 1,000. Everyone, in just one day, Whitebeard has already made back their money. Although everyone is not as strong as them, they can get back their money right away with a little more time. Anyone who wants tickets, please ring the doorbell at any time. Although Whitebeard and the others would not take the initiative to say how much they earned, Chen Fang had all the data, so he immediately appeared outside the auction house after Whitebeard and the others left. 10,000 resource points is not a small amount for many people. and some little pirates can't make up their minds at all, so Chen Fang also needs to give them a certain amount of temptation. I want. I've gathered enough supplies. President, hurry up and exchange them for resource points. Someone rushed up immediately. However, some people shook their heads and still did not step forward. These people still don't understand that even if they can get tens of thousands of resource points inside, it's still not enough to participate in the auction. I'd better just watch the fun. Yeah, the things in the auction house are all good things. How can we small people fight against those big forces? Some people choose to fight impulsively, but there are still many people who can understand their situation. The Whitebeard pirates have all gone in. Where can they get in and snatch it? Whitebeard pirates recruited and killed. While someone was buying tickets and was hesitating, a vendor near the auction house suddenly yelled. Some watching pirates and some pirate hunters looked over. Zayadaisha? What do you mean? As soon as they heard that it was the name of the Whitebeard group, people immediately surrounded them. It's very simple. The Whitebeard pirates will provide you with tickets, and you will contribute all the resource points you get to the Whitebeard pirates. As a reward, the Whitebeard pirates can exchange Baileys with you. One resource point is 10,000 Baileys. Really? Whitebeard pirates, no fools. They stepped out. After Whitebeard and the others went back, they also discussed the zombie world. They are powerful, and it is very fast to get resource points. But they can't put all of Whitebeard's men into it. Ace immediately thought of this good idea. Auction houses can no longer use Baileys, but they can use Baileys indirectly. Bailey is just a number to them, and resource points are of little use to some small pirate groups. It is entirely possible for these little pirate groups to use resource points to find them in exchange for money. At that time, the tickets can be recycled and completely recycled. As soon as Ace appeared, these little pirates immediately had no doubts. Everyone only needs to pay a deposit of 50 million Baileys, and then you can come to us to exchange a ticket and start picking up the task. Of course, we won't let your money. When you return the ticket, the deposit will be returned together. Ace said to these interested people. Smart. I don't need to remind you. After hearing the discussions of the children, Chen Fang also immediately realized the problem. At the same time, he also thought of this method. He originally wanted to remind the Whitebeard group, but now there's no need to do so. Now, these little pirates can completely accept tasks from Whitebeard, and there is no need to pay high fees to buy tickets, and the deposit is only half of the ticket, and it can be refunded. Why not do it? And it's still possible to use Bailey. Bailey doesn't work here with Chen Fang. I want to take on a mission. A pirate with a bounty of 80 million took out 50 million Baileys without hesitation. I'll have one too. A powerful pirate hunter also offered the money without hesitation. Killing pirates is just to get the bounty, but now it seems that there's a faster way, and he is too lazy to kill pirates. For a time, more and more people poured into the zombie world, either to earn resource points for yourself or to pick up tasks from Whitebeard. Whitebeard was the first to think of this method, and after a few days, the resource points rose steadily. At this time, both Big Mom and Kaido also sent people to the auction house. After going in, they also understood how easy it is to come to this resource point. The pirates who can come up with 50 million are all powerful, so the speed of earning support points is not slow. How is it? How much did you earn these days? I've already made millions. It's so cool. These zombies are so easy to kill. Don't tell me. Some of them are quite strong. Last time I saw a person from a distance and almost lost. Several pirates who received the mission happily exchanged Bailey from the mission points set by the Whitebeard pirates. A few days later, Chen Fang released another message. The zombies in the zombie world are not endless. They will be killed one day. Brother, if this continues, all the resource points will be earned by the Whitebeard pirates. Chapter 43, Plunder the World of Zombies. Create a testing ground cracker, and Katakuri just came out of the portal. Recently, they also obtained a lot of resource points, but when they were doing tasks inside. They also discovered that many people only took Whitebeard's task to kill zombies. Their speed is not slow, but compared to the Whitebeard pirates, it is much slower. And now, Chen Fang has given accurate information that the zombies can be killed. At the current speed, most of them were killed by Whitebeard. They will definitely be far behind by then. Send a message back, and we will start the mission point immediately. Katakuri no longer hesitates. Since the Whitebeard pirates can do this, so can their Big Mom pirates. A few days later, at the entrance of the auction house, the mission points of the Big Mom pirate group and the Beast pirates appeared one after another. Four Emperors opened 3, but Shanks wasn't involved in this kind of thing. Soon, the news of being able to accept missions spread across the world, and some pirates or strong men who were not interested in resource points also boarded the Sabeti archipelago one after another. Marine and the Revolutionary Army finally stopped hesitating. Since the zombies can be killed, they should act quickly and not lag behind others. Hey, it's been a day of killing. Take a rest. In the zombie world, after disposing of a batch of zombies, the 3 pirates who accompanied them sat by the river and took out the meat and wine they were carrying. After getting familiar with it, many people are like this. They bring food in directly, eat it when they are resting, and then continue to kill, and only go out when they are really tired. One of them didn't drink and was so thirsty that he ran directly to the river and started drinking the river water. It's full of zombies here. Be careful, there's zombie blood in the river. One person teased, "It doesn't matter so much. I've finished drinking the water I brought," said the pirate, and then took another big gulp. After I was full, I started to eat meat. Enough to eat. Continue to work. The target is 1,000. Go out to rest after killing. Let's go. The 2 stood up, but the remaining one didn't get up and asked, "Hey, what's the matter? Let's go." Kaka. The man didn't respond, just shook his head twice, his bones cracking. The next moment, the man raised his head and his eyes became blood red. The 2 companions didn't know what happened, but the man suddenly picked up the machete in his hand and stabbed one of them into the body. The person who was stabbed looked at the knife inserted into his body in surprise. He never thought that his companion would kill him. "What's the matter with you? We are companions." He was only answered by a series of roars. Seeing that the situation was wrong, the remaining one immediately took up his weapon and retreated. There's even one who can only use weapons. At this moment, another team of people came over. There was someone here, and he rushed up immediately, fearing that the prey would be robbed. However, after rushing up, the zombie in front of him was able to resist it and accidentally cut him. It's also a demon fruit power, though, and he's dealt with quickly. It's 20 o'clock. It's really worth it. What? You mean you got resource points after killing him just now? The companion of the slain zombie was still in a daze. Isn't he a zombie? Shouldn't there be? He is my companion. This kind of thing began to happen one after another, and soon the incident of ordinary people turning into zombies spread wildly. People who become zombies due to some special reasons. If they bite other people, they will also become zombies if they are not treated in time. These zombies will also retain the strength and fighting instincts before the upgrade, which is much stronger than those ordinary zombies. At the same time, killing these zombies will get more resource points. As soon as this incident happened, Chen Fang also got feedback immediately. Many people were scared away, but again, even though they knew the news, there were still newcomers who continued to enter. Pirates used to live a life of licking blood on the edge of a knife. Now the task has become a little more difficult than before, but the rewards have also become higher. This does not affect their mentality of fighting. When this first happened, it caused a certain panic, but after a few days, hunting became normal again. Everyone pay attention. Don't eat any local food. Don't love to fight when you encounter powerful upgraded zombies. If you are bitten, as long as you don't bite the body and head, cut them off immediately. This is the most effective way to stop upgraded zombies. Now, did you hear that? Got it, Sakazuki Admiral. Start to act. Marine dispatched Sakazuki with a group of elite troops to start a new round of earning resource points. Because of the appearance of the upgraded zombies, Whitebeard also took Ace and the others to enter again. This time they mainly targeted these upgraded zombies. Some of these upgraded zombies still have demon fruit power, which is quite troublesome to deal with. In case some of their tasks are infected, it will also greatly affect their income. All major forces have also sent out strong men again. Dealing with the upgraded zombies can earn a lot of money and solve troubles, so why not do it? For a while, the situation of the upgraded zombies was slowly brought under control. Slowly, more and more people poured in again. The zombie world has become the focus of attention of people all over the world, and it has also become the yearning place for some powerful people. Ace, your method is very good. After such a period of time, even if there is a certain loss, our capital has been earned back, and the rest will be pure profit. Jaws looked at his recent income and said to Ace overjoyed, "The resources in the sea have been plundered by major forces. If it weren't for the zombie world, the next auction would probably cost nothing. This time we are the first to release the mission, and it should be far ahead of other forces." Ace laughed. "Ace, Jaws, I will leave the affairs of the zombie world to you. If you need anything, please feel free to contact me." "Father, don't worry. With the two of us here, there will be absolutely no problems." Whitebeard left the island, and with so many people doing things, he didn't need to do it himself. It can also earn resource points and train newcomers. This place is really a treasure. Sabo came out of the portal and muttered, "Recently, the Revolutionary Army has gradually allowed more companions to enter. The resource points have been steadily increased, and the combat capabilities of personnel have also been greatly improved. It is simply killing two birds with one stone. Obtaining resource points from the zombie world has gradually become the trend of the sea. Originally, the undercurrent was turbulent, and the major forces that were scrambling for various resources also became calm one after another, and all of them devoted their energies to the zombie world. This simple and direct way of obtaining resource points made them even more tempted." Chapter 44. The Suspicion of the Five Elders. World Government come Sanctuary Mariehua in the office of the Five Elders. Create another zombie world. How much tricks does Chen Fang have? Nowadays, the sea is strangely calm, which is very detrimental to the balance of the sea. The point now is to find out what this zombie is, find a few people to protect Vegapunk, let him go in and study it. It's too dangerous. Find someone to go in and have a look. But now our relationship with the auction house is too tense. Will he let us in? Celestial Dragons is already on his blacklist. It's just killing an ordinary Celestial Dragons. Just find someone to talk to him. According to our intelligence, he is a man of rules. Then let Kong go and express our opinion to that Chen Fang, by the way, and see if we can exchange this world or other worlds. Several Five Elders talked with each other. They didn't value the resource points very much. They cared more about this new world. They have lived for such a long time, and they have never heard of such a thing, let alone seen it. However, as soon as Chen Fang appeared, it was fine to bring so many other items. And now he has created a new world, which is simply incomprehensible, but it also made them very greedy. If they can control such a world, their control of celestial dragons will definitely be improved to a higher level. Kong immediately received an order from the Five Elders and headed towards the Sabaody Islands with a large amount of supplies. It's the ship of the world government. That's Kong. He even sent out the former Marine Marshal. Is he going to attack the auction house again? It doesn't look like they came here to fight. Never mind. Let's pass the news to the president first. As soon as the world government ship approached, enthusiastic pirates immediately passed the news to Chen Fang. Chen Fang didn't care at all, and if he thought it would be useful for the former Marine Marshal to come, he didn't mind letting them know what despair is. Kong got off the boat, brought the people and things to the door of the auction house in a majestic way, and then rang the doorbell. It doesn't look like they're here to fight. Isn't it also here to kill zombies? Seeing Kong being so polite, the pirates around started whispering. Chen Fang manipulated the door to open. Kong walked in and saw Chen Fang with a leisurely smile when he entered the door. "You are Chen Fang, right? Among the younger generation, no one can compare to you." After Kong saw Chen Fang, his eyes were filled with depth. "Oh, why are you talking about this? No one in the older generation can compare to it." Chen Fang raised his eyebrows and said in a nonchalant manner, "This attitude is so arrogant." Kong frowned slightly. This Chen Fang was a little more arrogant than he imagined, but his arrogance was not like others. Chen Fang didn't exaggerate at all, as if he was just saying another ordinary sentence. But the more this is the case, the less it is an exaggeration. "I'm here on behalf of the world government. The world government means reconciliation with you. These are some compensations that represent apology." Kong said unhurriedly, "Hey, Your world government is still doing this, but those 5 old guys are flexible. Don't worry, I am a man of rules. As long as you follow the rules, I will not do anything. Even if you don't bring these things, whether you want to participate in the auction or go to the zombie world, I will not exclude you according to the rules. But since I brought it, I would lose face if I didn't accept it. Chen Fang smiled and waved his hand, and all these things brought by the world government disappeared. He has no hostility towards the world government at all. He just came over to carry out an ineffective attack, which did not cause any loss of interest, so he would not take it to heart at all. Listening to Chen Fang's words, the faces of Kong's entourage turned green, and they looked at Chen Fang with weird eyes, as if they were saying, "Don't accept it." Kong looked calm. The things he brought were for Chen Fang, and it would be best to keep them. "How many tickets do you want to change?" Chen Fang asked. 5 cards. The resource points will be deducted from the card. Kong took out the resource card issued by Chen Fang, which was used by Marine before. In order to make it easier for people on the sea to exchange resource points, Chen Fang issued resource cards to those who exchange supplies. People can exchange materials into resource points in advance and put them in the card. Of course, if you don't mind the trouble, you can also settle the exchange of materials on the spot. For major forces such as Marine, there will be a balance in the resource card. Chen Fang took the resource card, crossed out 50,000, and then threw 5 tickets to Kong. Each ticket also has the function of a resource card. The number of resource points obtained will be displayed on it, and it can also be transferred to others. The operation is simple. You should study it yourself. Chen Fang waved his hand, which means they can leave. Kong didn't hesitate, turned around, and walked outside. The first task has been completed, and the next step is the second task. By the way, let me remind you again, in the zombie world, the rule is that you can't kill each other. But if you kill someone, I will immediately kill you. Chen Fang reminded again. Do you know what happened in the zombie world? Kong paused and asked back. You could try it with the feeling of not believing me, as long as you don't regret it. Chen Fang smiled slightly. Everyone in the zombie world can go. Pirates, pirate hunters, and Marines are all kinds of hostile forces. While killing zombies, you can also deal with hostile forces. Many people will have this idea. In this way, the zombie world will be in chaos, and the number of people who help him kill zombies will definitely decrease. So, Chen Fang also made this rule. As long as someone kills each other, he will be able to receive a prompt from the system immediately and will not let anyone who breaks the rules be spared. Even though Chen Fang was well known, some people still didn't believe it when he came to such a big new world and chose to kill his enemies, and ended up being publicly executed by Chen Fang. After dealing with a few, everyone in the zombie world became peaceful. Kong didn't answer and led the people out of the auction house to the door and stepped directly into the zombie world. Chen Fang also began to count the supplies that Kong brought. Not bad. These devil fruits are just right for the second auction of Ghost Slayer World. The auction of One Piece World has come to an end. Chen Fang is preparing for the auction of Ghost Slayer World, and the world government has sent something. It's really timely. The huge world government needs to earn resource points by killing zombies. Chen Fang doesn't care. Chapter 45. The second auction of Ghost Slayer World. Things in the zombie world gradually stabilized. After some big forces bought enough tickets, they basically didn't need Chen Fang to sell tickets in person. Most people rely on these big forces to make money. After leaving some free tickets for Rayleigh in case he needed them, Chen Fang came to the world of Ghost Slayer. The second auction of Ghost Slayer World should also start. Chen Fang walked out of the auction house but flew into the sky, and then he stretched out his hand and threw it. A huge satellite only went towards the sky, passing through the clouds and reaching a place invisible to human eyes. This is the surveillance satellite Chen Fang redeemed from the system mall, which can monitor all places in the world of Ghost Slayer. After launching the satellites, Chen Fang returned to the auction house, and the pictures appeared on the big screen, all of which were pictures from various places transmitted by the satellites. Look at what our major customers are up to. Although he was next door, Chen Fang still used satellites to observe the situation at the headquarters of the Ghost Slayer Squad. It's just that there are no people in the headquarters of the Ghost Killing Squad, and several people with pillar-level strength have already gone out to work. Then Chen Fang continued to search, and soon found an acquaintance. It's not bad. The fruit ability has been developed to this extent, and the adaptability is still very strong. In the screen, it is the scene of Yenju Beiminjiu Xingming, who is transformed into a black bear, fighting. Chen Fang also looked at it with relish. Opposite Beiminjiu Xingming was a feminine man with white oak hair, colorful eyes, and hair as bright red as blood. But if you believe in this gentle appearance, then you have only one ending: to be ruthlessly eaten. This is Tong Mo, the second of the top string ghosts among the 12 ghost moons under Ghost King Wumi. Is this how you killed Yuo Zuo? It looks so strong. Looking at the morning Yu Xingming after the transformation, Tong Mo still had a soft smile on his face. It didn't look like he was fighting Beiminjiu Xingming. But as he said that, Tong Mo waved the golden iron fan in his hand, and several ice vines wrapped with ice lotus flowers went straight toward Beiminjiu Xingming. Blood Ghost Art Manly Anua. Beiminjiu Xingming's figure flashed. After such a period of time, he has combined the abilities of the breath of the rock and the black bear fruit to perfection. At this moment, his figure was constantly flickering, and he easily dodged the ice vines that wanted to wrap around him. Breath of the Rock's 7-shaped claw use on. Beiminjiu Xingming didn't use the sunwheel knife, and after closing the distance, he swung his sharp claws. Beiminjiu Xingming aimed at Tong Mo's neck and shot quickly. Tong Mo's reaction was also extremely fast, and he jumped up in time, but he didn't escape the attack for a while, and the sharp claws of Beiminjiu Xingming directly pierced his chest. So fast, but this kind of assault skill can't kill ghosts. Tong Mo was repelled, and the wound on his chest healed instantly. However, it must be hard for you to breathe now. Just when Tong Mo was carrying this attack, he also waved the fan in his hand at the same time. Blossoming lotus-shaped ice crystals spread out beside Beiminjiu Xingming, and the surrounding air began to plummet. Blood Ghost Art Lotus Leaf Ice. This is not just a simple freezing skill. After the ice crystals disperse, they use the opponent's breath to enter the opponent's alveoli, causing his alveoli to die. At that moment just now, he couldn't believe that Beiminjiu Xingming hadn't been hit. Beiminjiu Xingming's face was expressionless. At that moment, he did inhale some, but he immediately closed his breath. Normally, he would have some influence to some extent, but now that he has the Zoan Fruit bonus, this will not affect him at all. Zoan Fruit can not only strengthen the flesh, but the whole body from the inside to the outside. Until now, do you still treat me as an ordinary person? Beiminjiu Xingming snorted coldly, then swung the battle axe in his hand and rushed straight at Tongmo. Tong Mo began to resist with all his strength, and in just a few breaths, the two of them made dozens of moves. I'm more and more surprised. Among all the pillars I have encountered, you should be the strongest. Although your meat does not seem to taste good, it may have a different flavor. I don't mind letting you live forever with me. While Tong Mo was blocking the attack, the smile on his mouth didn't dissipate. Do you still want to say your crazy words here? If you don't try your best, then you will die. Breath of Rock, Shape of Land, Black Bear, Sunrise, and Moonset. The battle axe meteor hammer of Beiminjiu Xingming began to rotate at a high speed. 1, 2. Soon, Tong Mo was surrounded by the rotating circle. The rotating battle axe and meteor hammer seemed to be able to cut through the air. Tong Mo didn't know which one was real for a while. Perhaps each of them is true. As long as he is cut, it will be divided into 5 horses. At that time, let alone the head, no piece of meat will be complete. This time Tong Mo realized the seriousness of the problem. This sorrowful eyelet Xingming was stronger than he had imagined. The soft smile on Tong Mo's face could no longer hold on, but turned serious, and his eyes became cold. Since you can't escape, then Tong Mo gritted his teeth, and the cold burst out of his body crazily. Blood Ghost Art Fog, Ice Shual Yin Bodhisattva. Just when the attack of Beiminjiu Xingming was about to arrive, a huge iceman emerged from him. The iceman looks like a meditating bodhisattva with his hands folded. The bodhisattva waved his big hand towards the rotating meteor hammers, in the surrounding area. The rotating tomahawk meteor hammer was instantly hindered by a huge obstacle, and there was a loud bang. The Iceman's palm exploded, and the battle axe and the meteor hammer were also ejected. It will be a pity for you to die if I can use this trick. Tong Mo controlled the Iceman, and with the other hand, he patted directly towards Beiminjiu Xingming. Beiminjiu Xingming retreated quickly. This Iceman is not only powerful in attack, but the ice fog around him is highly poisonous. The giant's finger pointed towards Beiminjiu Xingming, and when Beiminjiu Xingming retreated a little far away from the ice fog, he took a deep breath. The breath of rock the shape of 9 the bear dominates the world. Suddenly, Beiminjiu Xingming's body also began to swell, and his whole body was several times stronger than before. Although it is not comparable to this huge Iceman, but compared to ordinary people, this is also a giant. Withdrawing the distance, it was just that Beiminjiu Xingming didn't want to inhale too much toxin, and if he inhaled too much, it would still be affected to some extent. With the breath of the rock, he is stronger in the black bear state. Even if he doesn't have a sun knife, his body is a weapon at this time. Waving his sharp claws, Mingyu Xingming headed straight for the Iceman. Tong Mo's eyes were full of disdain. This was his life-saving tactic. Although it was inconvenient to move, but it was extremely destructive, it was most suitable for fighting Beiminjiu Xingming. However, the next moment he was stunned. From his point of view, the giant palm that could slap Beiminjiu Xingming cracked after it collided with Beiminjiu Xingming. Then Beiminjiu Xingming took advantage of the victory to pursue, and after a set of combos, the other hand was also shattered. Chapter 46. The sensational Ghost Slayer World Impossible. How could it be so strong? Tong Mo's eyes were full of disbelief, and the next moment, the giant black bear incarnated by Beiminjiu Xingming had come before his eyes. At this moment, Beiminjiu Xingming can no longer control so much. Even if there is ice and fog here, it will continue to launch high-speed attacks. The battle is over. I killed a big shot. Let's rest and recuperate. Send an invitation. At this point, Chen Fang already knew the outcome of the battle. Sure enough, not long after, the Iceman was directly bombarded by Beiminjiu Xingming's fans, and Tong Mo's own body couldn't withstand Beiminjiu Xingming's serial attacks, and was finally torn to pieces by Beiminjiu Xingming. Beside them, there are 2 team members of Beiminjiu Xingming who are dealing with 2 Xiaxing ghosts, and the battle just ends at this time. At the same time, above their heads, several metal invitation letters suddenly fell straight down. The invitation letter was extremely fast, like a hidden weapon. Beiminjiu Xingming responded quickly and immediately caught it. The other invitations were also inserted on the ground. This is exactly the invitation letter from Chen Fang to control the launch of the satellite. Although it is made of metal and the speed is extremely fast, it will not deviate in the air, but it is a special material. Even if it hits a person, it will not be injured. At most a little pain. This is a special system satellite. Chen Fang can not only use it to destroy ghosts and destroy the world, but also can be used to send invitations. It's the Tiantian Auction House. The auction house is going to hold the second auction. Beiminjiu Xingming couldn't see, and the teammate beside him immediately said excitedly, "Let's go back to the headquarters right away." Beiminjiu Xingming immediately started to return. At the same time, Yoya Ubuyashiki of the headquarters also received an invitation letter. Chen Fang sent requests to various places at once. Although this cannot be as detailed as One Piece World, this satellite can also be sent indiscriminately. And the world of Ghost Slayer is much smaller. Just send a few important places there. Is it finally about to start? Seeing the invitation letter that fell down suddenly, Hei Mao's eyes shone with anticipation. During this period of time, he has only done one thing, which is to collect various resources and grab money. As a ghost, he doesn't need to pay attention to the rules at all. So after a period of time, he has also collected a lot of wealth, just waiting for the auction to open. It started again. Let's send some ghosts to have a look. Wumi, who was hiding in Infinite City, also received the invitation, but he immediately threw it aside. Whoever likes to go to this kind of auction, he won't go anyway. No matter how good things are, he is already the king of ghosts, and nothing can shake his position. The day of the auction is coming soon. On this day, the shoguns and some rich people gathered at the entrance of the auction. In order to make it easier for ghosts to participate in the auction, Chen Fang deliberately set the time after sunset. Soon, members of the ghost killing squad also came to the door. Also coming is He Simao. He Simao didn't hide much. He just wore a bamboo hat to cover his head, trying his best not to cause panic. Ordinary people didn't see anything wrong, but everyone in the ghost killing squad immediately smelled something wrong. As soon as He Simao appeared, he was surrounded by members of the ghost killing squad. It's ridiculous. Ghosts want to come to the auction too. Yu Sui Tianyuan said sarcastically. He Simao's invitation letter was in his hand, but the members of the ghost killing team didn't care what the ghost was here for. Get out of the way. I'm not here to fight with you. He Simao said indifferently. You are the 12 ghost moons, one of the first strings, Black Death Mao. Bei Minjiu, Xingming spoke in a deep voice. He Sima wears a bamboo hat to block his face, but Bei Mingyu Xingming never needs visual information. As soon as he heard the name, several pillars who came to accompany Yoya Ubuyashiki to participate in the auction all ran over and took up weapons. Since we have encountered it, let's kill him today. Purgatory Xingxilang held the handle of the knife in his hand and was about to strike the knife in the next moment. This time, several of them were there, especially Biminjiu Xingming, who had greatly increased his strength. Even if the opponent was the number one under Wu Mi's subordinates, they were fearless. And it just so happens that they can join forces to kill this number one powerhouse. The auction has started. Everyone can enter the venue one after another. At this moment, Chen Fang's resounding voice came from the direction of the auction house. Everyone waiting at the door walked in one by one. And at this time, the expressions of the pillars became more dignified. They didn't make a move immediately. They just wanted to wait for these people to go in first. Do it. Just when the last person entered, Bei Minjiu Xingming moved. Black Death, I was also fearless and pulled out the blade. Everyone, the auction will start soon. Everyone is my customer. It's not good to do it here. Just as the two were about to face each other, Chen Fang suddenly appeared and easily blocked their attacks. Seeing Chen Fang grasping his own blade so easily, He Simao couldn't help but secretly startled. His knife cut iron like mud, but Chen Fang grabbed it tightly with his flesh and blood, and he didn't suffer any injuries. How could this be a mortal body? As for the members of the ghost killing squad, they had already seen how powerful Chen Fang was, so they didn't make any further moves immediately. Close up, everyone, and participate in the auction first. Yuyashiki's voice sounded, and Chen Fang had already intervened, and they couldn't do anything here. The pillars all put away their weapons and walked into the auction house with an angry face. He Simao was their life and death enemy, and everyone wanted to kill him immediately. He Simao's face was calm. He didn't come here for these ghost-killing team members at all. It's best not to do anything. As several members of the ghost-killing team entered the auction site, a few more ghosts slipped out of the nearby woods and entered the auction site leisurely. This time they didn't come to eat people, so Chen Fang didn't stop them either. These ghosts know the rules of the auction house, but before the members of the ghost-killing team were at the door, they didn't come out. Now that the members of the ghost-killing team have gone in, if they go in again, even if the members of the ghost-killing team are found, they can't do anything. When the time comes, they will find another way to run away. They have received Wu Mi's order, and they have to come if they don't want to. After finishing the episode, Chen Fang returned to the auction stage. Because of the successful holding of the last time, more people were present this time, and all the shoguns were present. There are also many rich people that Chen Fang has not met. Chapter 47 Auction Paramecia, Devil Fruit. Welcome everyone to my auction. Let's not talk nonsense and go straight to the first auction item today. Chen Fang took out the box, which contained the apology from the world government, Devil Fruit. After seeing that it was Devil Fruit, there were sounds of surprise everywhere. My lord, it's Devil Fruit. Purgatory Kayajiro beside Yoya Ubuyashiki said in surprise. General, this is what I told you last time. Devil Fruit. After eating it, it can greatly increase your strength. The eyes of some generals who didn't come also lit up. This is Zoan Devil Fruit. cat fruit lion form. After eating, you can have the form of a lion. Whether it is in speed, strength, or explosive power, there will be a huge improvement, and what other effects it has, you will only know after eating it. Check out the big screen below. Because there are a lot of newcomers, Chen Fang took the trouble to show others eating Zoan devil fruit. However, the effect of devil fruit has already spread. After hearing Chen Fang's introduction, the whole venue has already started to boil. Video is just the icing on the cake. The starting price is 10,000 resource points, and each increase must not be less than 1,000. Ghost Slayer World can also exchange money for resources. After all, the resources here are scarce, and it cannot be compared with Pirate World at all. However, the starting price is already very high, and some businessmen who think they are rich have already started to retreat. Ubuyashiki Yoya had no expression on his face. He had to take down this devil fruit. 12,000. A general asked the price instantly. 13,000. Another general showed no sign of weakness. Several other generals also started bidding, and the price was quickly raised to 20,000. At this time, the shouting on the field had begun to gradually decrease, and only a few generals were still shouting. Finally, when it reached 30,000, the voice stopped. The general's financial resources also vary. Ha ha ha, it's mine. Seeing that the general who was bidding against him stopped, the general who bid 30,000 shouted excitedly. 40,000. But before Chen Fang counted down, Ubuyashiki's voice sounded. How capricious is money? Ubuyashiki had no intention of following them step by step, and after confirming a price, he directly added 10,000. The general could only be dumbfounded and looked at Ubuyashiki with displeasure. Without any accident, devil fruit fell into the hands of Ubuyashiki. Heisi Mao didn't say a word the whole time, and he didn't care at all. He could afford so much money, but he was still waiting. Devil fruit is good, but not what he wants. Damn it, it's this thing again. The ghost-killing squad needs another powerful person. But, Heisi Mao, what are you doing there? From the perspective of those other ghosts, Oni Wusuji was observing the auction remotely in Infinite City. Heisi Mao wasn't arranged by him. After all, he didn't need one of the 12 ghost moons for this kind of thing, and Gue Wusuji was a little surprised by the appearance of Heisi Mao. Congratulations to this gentleman. Without further ado, the next item is the second auction item, which is also devil fruit. Chen Fang immediately took out the second devil fruit. Ubuyashiki frowned. As long as there is such a thing, he must take it no matter what. The other pillars on the side were immediately delighted to see devil fruit, and they didn't expect that there were two of them this time. This fruit is a Paramecia spring fruit, which is different from Zoan. After eating it, you can gain the power of spring. For details, please see the big screen. The system released the scene of Bellamy's battle. Of course, the ending of the battle with Luffy was not released. The scene of failure would damage the bid. As for how the spring fruit came from, the previous owner died. Chen Fang was not surprised that the world government was able to get this fruit. Paramecia means being able to change one's own body. This spring fruit is able to turn any part of the body into a spring and can freely attack from any place as a jumping point. As for how to develop it, it depends on your ingenuity. If you get it, you earn it. The starting price is 10,000, and each increase must not be less than 1,000. After seeing the video and being introduced by Chen Fang, everyone understood what the devil fruit of Paramecia is and also understood the ability of the spring fruit. Just in case, there was an immediate bid. For the Shogun, this is also an interesting ability, and if it is used, it can also strengthen its strength. Let's ask the price first. However, after seeing this introduction, everyone in the ghost-killing team gradually lost their joy. This Paramecia looks interesting, but it turns into a spring, and it doesn't seem to strengthen anything. After turning into a spring, the speed seems to be quite fast, but that is also compared to ordinary speed, and our current speed is also very fast. This spring man doesn't seem to be able to increase the various abilities of the body like Zoan. When fighting ghosts, it doesn't seem to be very effective. Several pillars began to discuss that the usefulness of the spring fruit is completely inferior to that of the zoan fruit, in their opinion. Everyone, don't look at this eating spring fruit. It seems that it just turns the body into a spring. The biggest charm of devil fruit is that as long as it is developed properly, its ability can be infinitely enhanced. Zoan fruit can be continuously strengthened through exercise, but paramecia fruit can also continuously develop its ability, and it is possible to awaken the fruit. After awakening, the power of paramecia fruit will definitely increase exponentially. Similarly, I would like to emphasize to everyone that everyone can only eat one devil fruit. Unless you have a special constitution, if you eat two, you will die. So please don't try to eat two. People in Ghost Slayer don't know devil fruit at all. So Chen Fang also introduced it when these people bid. As long as you can increase your strength, you must take it. Yoya Ubuyashiki immediately made a decision. Those shoguns wanted this just to increase their own strength. And their ghost-killing team needs to improve their strength the most in the face of so many evil spirits. Although I am very interested, but for this ability that does not seem to be very strong, when the price reaches 25,000, I am a little bit suspended. Of course, these prices are the limit prices of the generals, and if they are increased, they will not be able to buy other things. After all, the resource points here are quite expensive. So at this price, the generals began to hesitate. 30,000. Ubuyashiki Yaozai did the same thing, and made another strong move to increase the price, scaring away everyone. After receiving the two devil fruits, Yoya Ubuyashiki showed a satisfied smile, and at the same time, his face became more expectant. Chapter 48. Out of the control of the Ghost King, damn it. Yoya Ubuyashiki took 2 shots. I don't believe he still has money. I spent 70,000 yuan all at once. Even if you are Yaya Mayashiki, I don't believe you can continue. There must be something better in the future. Yoya Ubuyashiki, just watch. Several generals were unhappy and said that Yoya Ubuyashiki had a lot of money, and they had no choice but to rob them. However, there were only 2 items in the lot, and they were even more looking forward to what would appear next. Wow, 2 devil fruits in a row. There won't be more in the future, right? Lianju Ganlusi Mealy said happily, her 2 big eyes shining with excitement. There are already 2. This boss should not continue to take devil fruit anymore, right? Otherwise, it might be a bit monotonous. I want to see if there are any other strange things. Purgatory Xingxilang said from the side, it's best to increase your strength. Yu Sui Tianyuan followed up. Everyone looked at Chen Fang expectantly. Next, it's our 3rd lot. The car. Chen Fang waved his hand, and a beautiful car appeared in front of everyone. This is the Fengbei car that Chen Fang got directly in One Piece World. Although in One Piece World, this is nothing, but in Ghost Slayer World, this is a technological innovation. Of course, it is impossible for Ghost Slayer World to have wind shells, and they cannot make them. So Chen Fang brought 10 cars over for a package auction. Car, what is this? There are 4 wheels on it. Could it be dragged by a horse? Isn't that like buying a car? It shouldn't be, since the names are different. There must be something different. Everyone discussed it. It was the first time they had seen such a novel thing. The members of the Demon Killing Squad also showed a strange light in their eyes. Although they were a little interested, they didn't need to discuss it. Yaya Ubuyashiki had a calm face. No matter how novel this thing was, it was not what they wanted. Don't be impatient, everyone. I'll invite someone to come up and try it, and everyone will know. General, why don't you come here yourself? Chen Fang looked at a general who was eager to try and greeted him directly. The general was also very willing and ran up without hesitation. General, as long as you control this, you can go. Be careful. The speed may be a bit fast. With a big wave of Chen Fang's hand, a circular runway appeared in midair above everyone's heads. Although it is not very long, it is completely enough for a test drive. Under Chen Fang's instruction, the general got into the car excitedly and stepped on the accelerator. The car roared past immediately and reached the end of the runway in no time. If it weren't for Chen Fang's control, the general would have been killed by a head-on collision. So fast, so powerful. The general looked unsatisfied. But Chen Fang has brought him back to the stage and removed the runway. As you can see, everyone has seen the effect. This is definitely a must-have product for home travel and visiting friends. As for the power, you don't have to worry about it at all. As long as you store enough wind power, you can keep going. The manual is here. Don't be afraid of not using it. There are a total of 10 cars packaged for auction with a starting price of 10,000, and each increase must not be less than 1,000. 20,000. The general who had just tested did not hesitate to bid. He didn't even think about this kind of strange thing. He only felt the passion of speed at that moment. It was so cool. It was much faster than riding a horse. 25,000. A nobleman bids. Although ordinary people like them yearn for strength, they don't need it like the ghost-killing squad. They usually tend to live more, and cars are a symbol of their life progress. Although the car has not been released yet, they all understand that people who own cars in the future will definitely have the most face. This thing is so useful, it must be photographed. Don't rob me. I'll give you a car when the time comes. Some noble generals bid one after another, and their yearning for the car is not weaker than that of the previous devil fruit. The ghost-killing squad didn't participate. The car didn't do much for them, and it wasn't worth the price. But for these ordinary people, cars are completely a product of a cross-age era, a symbol of their status, and they must be photographed. I can't fall behind these nobles, General. I am the highest-ranking general. 30,000. A general shouted his bid. It's already reached this price. This is the price at which devil fruit was traded. Devil fruit is good, but it can only be used by one person. Who will buy the car? After that, it will be convenient to travel, and I can be sure that the car will definitely be a symbol of nobility in the future. Yeah, there are only 10 cars in total. How can ordinary people own them? Only the nobles among the nobles can take pictures. Only they are worthy of using them at that time. The people who watched the excitement were discussing enthusiastically one by one. The price did not stop because of the high. 32,000, 40,000, 50,000. The one who shouted out the price was the general who had just tested it. After discussing with another familiar general, he did not hesitate to call out a high price. All of a sudden, to such a height, the scene was silent. 50,000 for the first time, 50,000 for the second time, 50,000 for the third time, deal. The gavel sounded, and the general happily handed over the resource points. For this price, Chen Fang was a little surprised. After all, in his opinion, this car is indeed useless, even though it is a product of technological innovation in the world of Ghost Slayer. Only now did he understand that in Ghost Slayer world, except for the Ghost Slayer squad, who had higher requirements for combat, the rest of the group still faced life more. The consumption level of these ordinary people is not low. Of course, it cannot be compared with those in One Piece world who are called hundreds of thousands of resource points, but it is also very good to be able to buy 10 cars with 50,000 resource points. This also gave Chen Fang more ideas about the auction items of Ghost Slayer. Of course, Chen Fang didn't think much about it now, but immediately took out a small bottle. Next is our last lot, holy water. Don't look at the small bottle in my hand. As long as you drink this holy water, you can instantly restore your state, whether you have a broken arm or a vegetative state. You can instantly recover. If you're a normal person, after drinking it, you can immediately eliminate the impurities in your body, improve your various abilities, and even your talents. Even if a ghost drank it, it would still be effective. To put it bluntly, after drinking the ghost, it can destroy the will of Wumi left in your body and make you free. Chapter 49, Shot Along the Bloodline. Severely wounding Ghost Maisuji. Hearing the previous words, everyone became interested, especially everyone in the ghost-killing squad. This holy water is the holy medicine for healing. As for improving people's talents, it is a bit of a waste, but no matter what, this thing is priceless. At this moment, Yuya Ubuyashiki made up his mind and decided to take a picture. However, as soon as the last sentence came out, it was like a thunderbolt, directly bombarding every ghost present, especially Hei Mao. Hei Mao suddenly raised his head and looked at Chen Fang on the stage. It finally came, but luckily he didn't give up. This is the holy thing he needs. Chen Fang sincerely does not bully him. Forehead, forgive me, my lord. No, Before Chen Fang could make an offer, there were screams from all over the field. He Sima, who was closest to Chen Fang, had a painful face and knelt down on the ground. His whole body began to twitch. All ghosts are like this at this time. Some weaker ones have already begun to dissipate. Ghost Dance Suji Wumi in Infinite City has been paying attention to the auction all the time. He was quite leisurely at first, but when the car came out, he had already made up his mind to get one. Unexpectedly, this last lot turned out to be this thing. Goei Wu Suji Wumi didn't bother to investigate the authenticity of this thing, and he didn't believe it was fake. So he immediately decided to kill the ghosts present first, especially He Si Mao. He Si Mao is so powerful that even he has to avoid it by 3 points. Once this kind of ghost is out of his control, it will be a threat to his safety. Presumptuous. Chen Fang immediately understood what was going on and immediately made a downward gesture towards the void. Ordinary people can't feel it, but these ghosts only feel a kind of power, and then the pain on their bodies disappears instantly. In the distance, Ghost Wu Suji's face changed drastically. He suddenly couldn't feel his control over these ghosts, but he didn't lose contact. Ghost Dan Suji, it's fine if you don't come to the auction for fear of death, but my auction will have rules. Even if you don't come, you can't intervene remotely. This time it's just a small punishment for you. And next time, there is no doubt that he must die. Chen Fang appeared in front of Haishimu in an instant, as if he was talking to Haishimu. But only He Si Mao knew that he was using himself to talk to Goei Wu Suji Wumi. After finishing speaking, Chen Fang made another gesture of pressing down on He Sima's head. He Si Mao only felt a force penetrate his body, and then it disappeared. But Wu Suji Wumi, who was far away in the Infinite City, suddenly turned pale, a mouthful of blood spewed out, and the whole person fell weakly to the ground. This? Impossible. Relying on my bloodline left in him, he can severely injure me. How'd he do it? Impossible. Oni Wu Suji Wutsan's entire face turned green, worse than eating shit. He thought that as long as he didn't show up, he would be fine, but he didn't expect that this person was sitting at home, and the injury came from the sky. This time, the fear of Chen Fang went up to another level. He Si Mao didn't even know what happened, but he knew that Goei Wu Suji Wumi couldn't kill him now. The other ghosts were relieved, but they still don't know what happened. I just thought it was Goei Wu Suji who showed mercy and let them go. As for the fact that Chen Fang waved his hand just now, they didn't believe that such a thing existed in the world. All ghosts know that the life and death of ghosts are all in the thought of Ghost Wu Suji. Okay, everyone, just now someone... No, there was a ghost who made trouble. But it's okay now. The auction continues. The starting price of the holy water is still 10,000, and it can't be lower than 1,000 each time. This healing effect alone caused everyone to sigh, not to mention the abstract talent for improvement. All the wealthy people present began to scramble to quote, "With this thing, it is equivalent to an extra life as long as you don't die completely." Just now, it was Goei Wu Suji who knew the function of holy water and wanted to kill these ghosts from a distance. It's such a pity. It would be nice to let Oni Wu Suji kill He Si Mao. The members of the ghost-killing squad were not in a hurry to make a bid, but started a discussion. This boss is too evil. He can even stop Kiwa Suji's curse. Is there anything he can't do? Purgatory Xingjiru was surprised. I seem to have heard just now that he said that he taught Goei Wu Suji a lesson, and if I understand correctly, he even hurt Goei Wu Suji. At this time, Baiming Yushiming also said. Chen Fang was talking to He Si Mao in a low voice just now, and only the strong and blind man heard what he said. No, it can be done. Yu Sui Tianyuan looked confused. If you can ask him to take action, will you be able to eliminate Onawu, Sujimomi? Ganluji Miri said. I think it's okay. His strength is so terrifying that it's unimaginable. The Ghost King is definitely not his opponent. Yu Sui Tianyuan deeply agreed. This boss is mysterious and unpredictable. He treats people and ghosts equally. If you don't provoke him, he won't make a move. It's our job to deal with Kiwu, Sujimu, said Yoya Ubuyashiki calmly. Yes, my lord. Ganluji Mitsuri said with a pout. My lord, is it time to bid? Yusue Tianyuan reminded. At this time, The price at the auction had already reached 40,000. Is a general. 50,000. Similarly, He Si Mao did not wait any longer. Although he was extremely excited, he also waited until the voices on the scene became quieter before starting to bid. 55,000. Yuya Ubuyashiki did not hesitate at all. He Si Mao was also unmoved. 56,000. 57,000. 60,000. During the entire auction, the only voices calling for prices were Mao Kurashiki and Yuya Ubuyashiki. What's the origin of this person? He can compete with Yuya Miyashiki for the price. Yuya Ubuyashiki is also fierce enough. There are so many of them. Because of the disguise, the others didn't know that He Si Mao was a man-eating ghost, and they thought it was some mysterious person. 65,000. Yuya Ubuyashiki's face changed slightly, and he was a little unbearable at this price. After all, I spent so much just now. No matter how well prepared I am, it is still not to the extent of skyrocketing price increases. 70,000. He Si Mao didn't hesitate. He is bound to win, and he has saved so much money just for this holy water. He's a ghost. Where did he get so many resource points? Yusui Tianyuan couldn't help complaining. At another 1,000, Ubuyashiki Yaozai was unwilling to compromise easily. Even if he reached the limit, he had to force him one more time, so he bet that Kurashiki would not be able to add more. 80,000. He Si Mao remained unmoved and calmly increased the price. There were gasps of air everywhere in the venue. Those who can call out this price are not ordinary people, but this man wearing a bamboo hat does not look like an aristocrat. And this is what surprised them even more. Yuya Ubuyashiki was really silent. He already bought 2 devil fruits at this price, and he couldn't add it up at all. Congratulations to this mysterious gentleman. Take the holy water. Chapter 50. The Stunned Ghost King. That's a taboo without saying a word. He Si Mao swiped the resource points, and, after getting the holy water, he drank it in one gulp. In an instant, Haishai Mao only felt a warm current flow through his body, and then he felt an unprecedented sense of comfort. The whole person seems to be transparent. Ghost. He Si Mao stood where he was. The whole ghost's eyes hesitated, but then became resolute. Ghost danced Suji, no misery. He Si Mao paused word for word and said the name Gue Wu Suji Wu Mi. This name is taboo to all ghosts. No matter how strong you are, as long as you say it, you will definitely die. But at this time, he is still standing there intact, without any abnormality. Impossible. Impossible. Gue Wu Suji in Infinite City screamed. At that moment, he was completely unaware of his connection with He Si Mao. Apparently, the holy water did the trick. Thanks. He Si Mao killed people without blinking an eye and was ruthless, but he was still very grateful to see Chen Fang now. If Chen Fang hadn't given him a definite answer, he wouldn't have been desperate for money, and he wouldn't have been able to snatch the holy water from the Ghost Slayer squad. It's okay. They're all clients of my auction house. Your satisfaction is the greatest reward to me. But if you go out, there's nothing I can do to help you, Chen Fang said with a smile. At this time, the other people and those few ghosts ran out, and only a few little ghosts and 2 pillars followed. Soon, only He Si Mao and the rest of the ghost-killing squad were left in the auction house. Don't worry about that. He Si Mao is full of confidence, even in the face of many pillars. He is not afraid. After drinking the holy water just now, it not only eliminated the control of Oni Wu Suji, but also greatly increased his strength. Have you eaten this cat fruit? Ubuyashiki Yoya handed the cat fruit to Purgatory Kaijuro, and then asked several other people, "Who are you interested in spring fruit?" "I don't need it." Fengzhu Immortal Kawa Minami shook his head. Bei Minjiu, Xingming, and Gamlusi Mealy went to chase those little ghosts, and Purgatory Xingqiang had already eaten one. The remaining Yusu Fenyuan hesitated for a moment, then took the initiative to step forward. "Let me try." In their opinion, the Zoan fruit is the strongest, but they're all devil fruits. Will the spring really be weak? Yusue Tenyuan deeply remembers what Chen Fang said. As long as it is developed properly, it can become stronger. Without saying a word, the 2 took the devil fruit and ate it with pained faces. After suffering from the disgusting taste, the two felt that magical feeling. But at this time, there is no time for them to familiarize themselves with their abilities. He Mao has already walked outside. He Mao was unhurried. He knew that these people could keep up with him, so he didn't run away in a hurry. He also wants to try to see what level he has reached after his strength has soared. Since you're here, don't leave. Purgatory Xing Shoulong fell from the sky and blocked He Mao. Congratulations, please take control of Onamai Suji, but you are still a damn evil ghost. Immortal Chuan Xia looked at Haishimu with a murderous smile. Looks like we've caught up. Ganlusi Meili and Bei Minjiu Xingming came out from the side. There was a bloody smell on the two of them. Obviously, those little ghosts just now had died in their hands. 9 pillars came to 5. 2 of them also ate the Zoan Devil fruit. Their strength increased greatly, and one of them ate the Paramecia fruit, although they have not yet developed their ability, but it is also different from the past. Even Gue Wu Suji would feel terrified when he encountered such a scene. He Mao looked calm. Kill you, and the blind man behind, the ghost killing team will be finished. He Mao's tone was serious. The blind man he was talking about was naturally not lamenting Yu Xingming, but the one standing at the door of the auction house, waiting for the end of their battle, Yuzai Ubuyashiki. It's up to you. Dream it. Immortal Kawa Minami said hotly. You killed so many people. Today is also the time for retribution. Bai Ming Yu Xingming clasped his hands together, as if praying for the dead, and then the battle axe and meteor hammer on his back followed the trend. Breath of Rock 1 shaped serpentine bipolar. Boom! The battle axe and the meteor hammer attacked He Mao. The battle begins. Breath of Flame 1 type Shiranui. Breath of Sound 1 shape Boom. Breath of Love 1 shape Trembling of First Love. 5 pillar level strengths attacked at the same time. He Mao looked awe-inspiring. Surrounded by 5 pillars, he had to be serious. The Breath of the Moon, the Shape of Wu, and the Vortex of the Moon's Soul. He Mao began to produce huge Uzumaki-shaped wind blades all over his body, surrounding himself and resisting everyone's attacks. The blow failed, and the faces of the people remained unmoved, and they continued to charge towards Haishimu. Use the fruit ability. Bei Minjiu Xingming was also unambiguous, and immediately began to turn into a half-orc state. Purgatory Xingqiang couldn't wait a long time ago. With a lion's roar, his whole body was taller, several times bullier, and every time he attacked with a knife, he could feel stronger than before. Yu Sui Tianyuan's feet turned into springs, and he didn't know how to use them just after eating them. But with rich combat experience, he immediately followed Chen Fang's video and used the springs to accelerate himself. The 5 people continued to interfere and besiege He Mao. He Mao's expression became more and more dignified. The strength of the 5 people was already strong, but the 2 who ate the Zoan Devil fruit were even more fierce now. This devil fruit is really troublesome. He Mao thought to himself, but his face remained calm. After fighting for a while, he clearly felt that the physical strength and attack of Bai Ming, Yu Xingming, and Purgatory Xingqiang seemed endless. And it's not that he didn't hurt these people, but the recovery ability of these 2 people is only a little slower than their ghosts. His confidence to remain invincible is to be able to recover continuously, and he is not afraid of consumption at all. But now, the opponent also has 2 of them, so it's a bit troublesome to fight. After fighting for a while, He Mao left the 5 of them in a state of embarrassment. He also suffered a lot of injuries, but they all healed. But He Mao also understood that he was not afraid of any of these 5 alone, but the combination of 5 people really made him a little tricky. You can't kill 5 of them, and it's hard for them to kill me. Find a chance to withdraw. He Mao made a decision in his heart instantly, and then his eyes began to look at everyone. If you want to escape from a siege of 5 people, you must break the predicament. The Breath of Sound, the Shape of 4, and the endless chopping. Breath of Love Wu Ji type Uncertain Love Chaotic Claws. Breath of the Rock 2 Shape Small Sky. At this moment, the attacks of the 3 of them came right at him from different directions. Haishimu immediately jumped horizontally, avoiding the attacks of Ganlusi Meili and Yusue Tianyuan, but he couldn't escape Bimingyu Xingming's battle axe, so he could only raise his hand to resist. Have the opportunity. Chapter 51: Intense Fighting. Chaotic ghost world He Si Mao seemed to be walking in disorder at this time. Yusue Tianyuan's eyes narrowed immediately, and he seized the opportunity. In the battle of masters, a small flaw is often fatal. But at this moment, He Si Mao turned his head strangely and quickly swung the evolved ghost blade in his hand, as if he was waiting for him. The breath of the moon, the 14th shape, changed. The sky is full of slender moons. Suddenly, countless huge crescent-shaped wind blades charged directly at Yusue Tianyuan and the nearest Ganlusi Meili. At the same time, He Si Mao's left arm was cut off directly, but it grew out in an instant. But the countless powerful wind blades wrapped the two of them together. Yusue Tianyuan and Ganlusi Meili tried their best to resist, but this sudden and violent attack broke through their defense in one fell swoop. And the attacks continued. Bimingyu, Xingming, and Purgatory Xingqiang immediately flashed over. If they didn't resist these wind blades, they might be crushed. At the same time, Immortal Chuan Xia rushed toward He Mao. However, what he was facing was several giant wind blades and countless moon blades falling from the sky. Breath of the Moon, 16-shaped, Moonbow Lone Moon. He Si Mao had already decided to evacuate and immediately released his group attack skills. Not to mention the power of this move, the scope is still wide. It is very difficult for Immortal Kawasami to resist, let alone catch up with him. And the remaining 4 people were also delayed by him. This time, he seized the best time to escape. He Si Mao didn't say a word, and his figure disappeared immediately. Undead Kamehameha managed to block this move, and then prepare to rush out. Forget it. I've already run away. Save the 2 of them first. Yoya Mayashiki walked over and stopped everyone who wanted to pursue. At this time, Yusue Tianyuan and Ganlusi Meili were seriously injured. If they were not treated in time, they might die. BD, this made him run away. It will be difficult to think of such a time in the future. Immortal Kamehameha said regretfully. Perhaps this is not a bad thing. Ubuyashiki Yoya's face was calm, exuding the light of wisdom. This He Si Mao got rid of the control of Gue Wu Suji Wumi, and the 2 ghosts will have a battle. Bimingyu Xingming said in a deep voice. The few people didn't bother with the matter of Haishimu anymore and helped the 2 wounded. They returned to the headquarters first. Yusue Tianyuan, how do you feel about the Spring's ability? After returning to the headquarters, Ya Ubuyashiki also asked curiously. He is not worried about Zoan. Bimingyu Xingming has perfectly interpreted the power of the animal world. Purgatory Xingqiang now needs to practice hard, and he will be able to combine the lion with his breathing well, and he will become stronger by then. However, Paramecia is somewhat incomprehensible. My lord, Paramecia Devil Fruit is amazing. I feel that my body is not an ordinary human being at all. As long as I move my mind, it can become a spring. The ability of the spring can be changed. As long as I have time to practice, I will be able to combine it with my breathing and sword skills. The auction house boss is not exaggerating. This ability is not weaker than Zoan Fruit. Although Yusue Tianyuan was seriously injured, his eyes were still bright at this time. He was confident that if he was given more time to practice, he would never be so embarrassed next time. Very good. You should heal your wounds first. He Si Mao drank the holy water, got rid of the control, and his strength increased greatly, and he must have collided with Guowu Suji in the near future. Taking advantage of this opportunity, we have to investigate their whereabouts as soon as possible. I know, when the snipe and the clam fight, the fisherman wins. We could be the fisherman. Purgatory Xing Shoulong excitedly said beside him. Then this time, we are very likely to be able to eliminate the Ghost King directly. From now on, there will be no more suffering in the world. Bimingyu Xingming put his hands together, his tone full of expectation. Specifically, you need to plan well for this period of time. Your main task is to find out their whereabouts. Yoya Abiyashiki said calmly, but at the same time, his expressionless expression also began to fluctuate. This time he is the real one. Opportunity to see. At the same time, within the auction house, after harvesting good resource points, Chen Fang also started to mutter. The strength of the ghost-killing team has risen sharply. Black Death Mao is out of control. Ghost Dansuji Wumai is probably doomed. Then the world is about to stabilize. The material is not rich. Is this auction house not very profitable? Combining these two auctions, coupled with his understanding of the world of Ghost Slayer, Chen Fang has almost taken shape for the future of the world of Ghost Slayer. Xiaobai, do you think I can ask someone to go to the Ghost Face world to watch the scene for me? Chen Fang suddenly thought. After all, there will definitely be other auction houses in the future, and it may be troublesome for him to go back and forth to auction alone. If he can hire people, the efficiency will be much higher, and as a boss, controlling everything behind the scenes is what he needs to do. Now, everything in the auction house is on the right track, and he is also qualified to be the boss. Yes, everything in the auction house is decided by the host. Xiaobai replied. Then how will the proceeds be distributed? Of course, all of this is decided by the host, and the system executes it on its behalf. That's easy. The plan can be determined. Now is the candidate. Chen Fang began to think about it. Then, no, the Ghost Destroyer is still too weak to hold back. Let's go back to Pirate World first. Chen Fang immediately made a decision. After all, the level of strength in Ghost Slayer World is relatively weak, but this also makes it easier to find people from One Piece World. The strength level of Pirate World is much higher. As long as it is the combat effectiveness of the first echelon, it can completely walk sideways in the world of Ghost Slayer. Chen Fang muttered, stepped through the portal, and returned to the world of pirates. When I went out, I saw Rayleigh picking out a few bottles of good wine and preparing to go out. Come out. I'm going out for a drink. Don't come to me if you have anything to do. Rayleigh walked out with his arms dangling. Hey, it's okay, drink slowly. Chen Fang stopped Rayleigh, but didn't say anything. Rayleigh has to stay in One Piece World to do business. Let's see. Chen Fang immediately dismissed the idea of letting Rayleigh go to Ghost Slayer World. Rayleigh is completely T0 level combat power, but Chen Fang thinks there is no need to use such a strong person. Moreover, Rayleigh is a strong individual, but Chen Fang still thinks that it should be more flashy and weird, and it is better to calm down the scene. If I let the news out, the doors of the auction house will probably be smashed, yes. Chen Fang had a flash of inspiration, and then walked out happily. I don't know how many zombies the migrant workers have killed. Chen Fang began to check the income of the zombie world. After such a period of time, he has already earned hundreds of thousands of resource points lying down. It has to be a pirate. It can be killed. Chapter 52, Supernovas. The wicked generation Chen Fang came outside the auction house, which was as lively as ever. There's an endless stream of people from various forces, such as the Pirate Marine Revolutionary Army. Here they also formed a tacit understanding and did not fight each other. Of course, this is also the result of Chen Fang and Rayleigh's deterrence for a period of time. Chen Fang took the latest newspaper, and a stack of reward orders fell out of it. In the first photo, Chen Fang saw a familiar face, Monkey D, Luffy with a straw hat and a heartless smile. Then came Eustace Kid, Basil Hawkins, and other 11 young pirates with a bounty of over 100 million. On the newspaper, a very pleasant name was also written for this group of young pirates who offered a reward of over 100 million. Superstar New Pirate means that this is the best of the younger generation of pirates. At this time, these supernovas are also boarding the Sabeti Archipelago one by one and are about to go to New World. Wow, is this the Sabeti Archipelago? Playground. Which island is the playground? Luffy, it's not time to play yet. Hurry up to buy and find a coding craftsman. A fist of love from Nami sent a lump over Luffy's head. The rumored Tiantian auction house is on the island. I wonder if we can catch up with the auction this time. Usopp said with longing. Enough rest. It's time to pick up the mission. Luffy and the others were wandering on the street, and a group of menacing men and horses passed by them. The words in the mouth are discussing to accept tasks and earn resource points. You mean the auction house needs to use resource points to conduct auctions, and resource points can only be exchanged for materials or to kill zombies? Kid stepped on a pirate's back and asked very proudly. The pirate was going to kill the zombies, but he had some collisions with the supernova, and in the end, he was beaten to the ground. Yeah, Zhutian Auction House. Haven't you heard of it? Hand over your resource points. Kid didn't answer, just smiled slyly. People are going to be beaten to death. This pirate can only hand over the ticket obediently. He originally worked for the Whitebeard Pirates, and all his resource points are on the ticket. Now he is forced to hand it over. Give up, the deposit is gone. Captain, this is the Tian Auction House mentioned in the newspaper. Kid and his group walked to the gate of the Tian Auction House. Kill zombies? Is it quicker to plunder? Kid didn't take the killing of zombies seriously and took his friends towards the port. Then, various tremors began to erupt near the Sabati archipelago. Not only Kid, but other supernova pirates also began to plunder wantonly, and the merchant ships and even some marine ships were ruthlessly destroyed. These people also only rob resources for one thing: to participate in the next auction. Kid, we came here first. Trafalgar Law, I want everything here. Room. Trafalgar Law, stop talking nonsense. Kid came aggressively, obviously trying to fight him. There are only so many materials on the island, and the fledgling supernovas who are not afraid of tigers have started various plunders and collisions. After the looting of supplies was almost over, the supernovas immediately turned their attention to the people in the zombie world. Although 10,000 resource points are available to them, they're definitely not casual, and they don't want to exchange them for tickets. But this did not affect their plundering. Many people even targeted Marine. Following the battle to plunder supplies and affect the balance of the island, there were various ambushes of Marines, as well as major forces robbing tickets. Chen Fang only stipulated that fighting is not allowed inside the zombie world, but he can't control the outside world. Those who entered the zombie world before either worked for big forces or were powerful. Although there were looting incidents, the frequency was very small. Their main purpose was still to kill zombies, but now that the supernova appeared, everything was messed up. They're also worthy of their names, and none of them follow the rules. Ha! It's better to grab these tickets quickly. After transferring the resource points on the tickets, you can resell them. This is not much better than killing zombies. The Kid Pirates successfully ambushed another person, a member said happily with a ticket. These kids are really amazing. Chen Fang also learned about the troubles of these supernovas, but he couldn't do anything about it. After all, although they grabbed the tickets, they didn't affect the progress of the zombie world too much. These supernovas are also very smart, either committing crimes secretly or robbing Marine, trying not to provoke the four emperors. With Admiral around, they still dare to act recklessly. The supernova this time is really brave. Naval headquarters, inside the marshal's office, Sengoku slams the table. He was very satisfied with the income of Zombie World recently. He didn't expect that this group of supernovas would cause such a big damage as soon as they landed on the island. They not only robbed merchant ships, but also robbed them of a lot of tickets. This is simply unbearable. A few days later, a marine warship appeared in the Sabati archipelago. The main targets this time, Eustace Kidd, Trafalgar Law, Basil Hawkins. These guys not only rob a large number of merchant ships, but also sneaked up on our companions in the zombie world. Once found, they will never let them go. Above the Marine fleet, a rear admiral is commanding the team. Hans, Rear Admiral, you are patrolling the sea. I will go to the island to find people, and the troops will be divided into two groups. This time we can't let them escape. Okay, Tony, Rear Admiral. Thank you. After the two rear admirals arrived at the Sabati archipelago, they distributed their tasks. A large number of Marines followed Tony, Rear Admiral, to the island, and another fleet searched for them on the sea. Sabati archipelago is a place with a very prosperous economy, and there is a constant stream of merchant ships. Sure enough, Hans hadn't sailed for a long time, and there was a wave of fighting not far away. All treasures are ours. A huge arm was waving in the air, and a merchant ship was smashed to pieces. I found you, Eustace Kidd. Hans' justice robe fluttered in the wind. Speed up. Captain, It's the Marine fleet. The kid pirates also found Hans, who was rushing over at high speed. Who led it? Looks like a Marine rear admiral. Rob. Kid showed a bloody and confident smile, already addicted to playing. A Marine rear admiral is enough to scare most pirates, but Kid is known as the bloodiest one in the Supernova. How can he be scared away by a rear admiral? Why don't you run away? It's exactly what I want. Hans is also full of fighting spirit. He likes to destroy the self-confidence of these arrogant pirates the most. Testimonials, thousands of waters and thousands of mountains are always in love. Can I make a first order? There is freedom and true love in the world, and a subscription is also love. Please read it patiently. Is the update too slow? Today and tomorrow will break out 10 updates or 15 updates. You decide. Send continuously, not all at once. Absolutely 10 more. Ask for the first order. That's right, this book is on the shelves tonight, and it will be updated tomorrow. This book has not been updated quickly from the beginning to the present. I apologize in advance. I'm sorry. At the same time, I'm also very grateful to my friends who supported me along the way. Those book lovers who have voted for flowers, ordered favorites, voted for comments, wrote comments, and rewarded small money, of course, are also grateful to those parents who support silently behind the scenes. I wish you a happy life and a lot of money. Now, this book is going to be on shelves. I hope everyone can give a first order and support this book. I promise that the following plots will become more and more exciting. If you have written 120,000 characters, in other words, you should be punished. The big guys who are looking for fattening will move their knives and make a first order. After all, it's still the same thing. Let's all go for AV. If you can book it automatically, book it automatically. Typing is always screaming in the stomach, poor, so poor that others will throw a coin when squatting on the street. Excited. The book is finally on shelves. Available at midnight tonight. Ask for the first order. This book has lasted for so many days, and today is the time to put on the shelves. To be honest, I was very nervous, even a little apprehensive, a little uneasy. Although the data of this book looks good, it also worries me a lot. The first is the subject matter of this book. There are many such subjects, and the competition is too great. The second is that some settings are too controversial. During the period, a lot of disputes arose in the comment area. Some scolded me, accused me, and encouraged me, and refuted it for me. I saw them all, but that's my background. I'm very grateful to all of you for supporting me. Thank you. In fact, you will find that even if it is my comment, I will not delete it because I know that making a reader dissatisfied is my own problem. I will also seriously reflect, correct, and even revise the previous article and rewrite some details. But even that may not satisfy everyone. Here, I can only say that I am very sorry. At the same time, I also want to thank those who spoke and cheered for me in the comment section. Thank you very much. I deeply see every piece of cheer and encouragement from you. Even because of 1 or 2 words, I will giggle for half an hour. It is my greatest honor to receive the attention and support of Schwaibe readers. It is also the biggest motivation for my creation. Whenever I stay up late into the early hours of the night to update, I can't help but bow my head and take a nap. Thinking of your encouragement, I will suddenly wake up and continue to complete my creation. Because I can read your expectations in your comments. I knew I couldn't live up to this expectation. To tell you the truth, I was very nervous inside. Until now, my hands are still shaking. But the thought of readers who love this book. Behind the blossoming flowers is your persistence. Behind the monthly tickets are all your favorites. Behind every comment is your love. Thinking of these, I can't help feeling moved and grateful. Thank you all. But at the same time, I also feel the pressure. I will always worry about the way I write a certain word. Description of each sentence. Even every expression of every character. I will pay attention. I'm scared, fear that one of the slightest missteps will disappoint those of you who support me. So every time I finish writing a sentence, I will read it 3 times by myself. Every time I finish writing a chapter, I will revise it 3 times. Even before updating the next day, I will read the S posted yesterday. If there is a sentence that I am not satisfied with, I will revise it again. Because I'm afraid you don't like these stories. Didn't like the plot either. Gradually, I could feel that my hands on the keyboard began to feel heavy, even trembling. The originally clear brain also began to become cloudy. I don't know if these reviewers are still reading this novel, but I still want to say thank you. It's you guys that remind me of my original goal. It's you guys that remind me of my first day of faith. I will finish this book. Even if there was only one reader and one person supporting me, I would have finished this book. I want to give myself an ending. It is also necessary to give an ending to every character and every story in the novel. At the same time, I will also give an ending to you who support me. Make a first order. Then it will be put on the shelves tonight, and I ask everyone to read the book and support it for the first order. Really, I really need your support than pearl than innocence. Don't cry if you cry miserably. I'm used to eating dirt anyway. Ask for a wave of first order. Ask for a wave of support. I beg you guys, give me some motivation. If there are 500 subscriptions, it will be updated. If there are 1,000 subscriptions, the author will guarantee the bottom line every day. Please, everyone, help out. Raise your hand. The testimonials are finished. Let's talk about the update. In my eyes, as long as readers support the 10th chapter of the daily update, even if I haven't saved the manuscript, I will publish it now. Then it is updated every day. As long as the subscription is passable, it will continue to be updated. At last, I beg all readers, brothers, to make a first order. Brothers who want to gain weight also give a first order. Thanks for your support. The framework of the whole book, including the ending, has been decided. I hope to get everyone's likes and approval, and I hope to get everyone's subscription. After all, I have to eat, right? If you're in short supply, reward the author with a bottle of water and a pack of cigarettes, and then move to pirated copies. Come to Feilu from time to time to give your opinions. If you have the ability, please subscribe and support more. Your encouragement is the greatest motivation for the author to make progress. Not much to say. The words are in the wine, the words are in the book, and the love is in the bottom of my heart. Please taste it carefully. It is a great honor to have you in my youth. Brothers, subscribe and go. At least 10 more tomorrow. Insist on originality. Eliminate violations of commitment. My pen name is Zonmon Group Master, and I guarantee that the contracted work is my own original creation, and that I will strictly follow the Feilu writer convention during the creation process. Insist on originality and prevent the following violations. If there is any violation, I am willing to bear all the consequences arising therefrom. 1. Guarantee that the contracted works belong to their own original works and do not involve plagiarism or plagiarism in plots in Chinese translation. 2. Guaranteed not to plagiarize any third-party works or plots during the creation process. 3. Guarantee that the work Feilu is the first and only signing website. 4. Guarantee to abide by discipline and law in the creative process, including but not limited to no politics, no pornography, gambling and drugs, no propaganda of cults, no ghostwriting, no stuffing of waste manuscripts, no hosting, no selling works and accounts, and other violations. 5. Guarantee that regardless of the number of words in the work, the contracted work must complete the plot, never unfinished, let alone finish. Chapter 53. The Fourth Auction. An unprecedented event. The battle was on the verge of breaking out, and Kid and the Marine Rear Admiral Hans collided without hesitation. Kid's steel arm gave him a very big advantage at the beginning. With a single punch, more than a dozen soldiers fell down. Hans is also not easy to mess with and restrains Kid when he goes up. But the battle didn't last long, and the entire Marine warship was destroyed in a short time. Hans is seriously injured. Kid ransacked all the supplies on board, took his younger brother, and left feeling bloated. The same thing happened on the island, and the other supernovas who were besieged by Marine gave those Marine a hard lesson. Obviously, Marine somewhat underestimated their strength. After several failed attempts, an enraged Sengoku stepped up his pressure on Supernova. The smart Supernova either found a place to hide, 563, or simply hid in the zombie world. In the zombie world, even if you meet Admiral, you are not afraid. And you can say provocatively, if you have the guts, come and catch me. At the same time that Marine was in a state of desperation due to the disturbance caused by these supernovae, Chen Fang released the news. The auction will be held in a month, and this time the auction items are even more worth looking forward to. There are even fetishes that can bring people back to life. This was intentionally released by Chen Fang, and the sea shook as soon as the news came out. There are even gods that bring the dead back to life. Where did the president get it? Kyo was full of surprise. Don't talk about this. There's still a month. Let's hurry in. Daddy is on his way. This time, we white-beard pirates must return with a full reward. Ace said anxiously. After the two prepared some supplies, they plunged into the zombie world. In a month's time, they can get a lot of resource points. With the same idea, there are other major forces. Kazan, Sakazuki, you two also hurry to the zombie world. This time we must get as many resource points as possible. 2 days later, 2 admirals showed up. The jumping supernovas hid one by one, but the 2 admirals didn't come from at all. After going to the island, they went directly to the zombie world. Luffy, the auction is only 1 month away. Should we also earn some resource points? I heard that this time there is actually a holy medicine that can bring people back to life. I'm really looking forward to it, Chopper said with a look of longing. After receiving the news, the Straw Hat Pirates were also very excited. If you have that time, it's better to earn a little more Bailey, Marine 3 Admiral, and 4 Emperors high-level combat power, is now in the zombie world. Where is our turn? Nami sees it clearly. It's okay to go and see the excitement. Robin showed an intellectual smile. Let's go, let's fight zombies. Luffy didn't seem to discuss it all and went straight to the auction house, and everyone was just speechless. Shanks, it looks like we could do it this time too. This time it will be more lively. Just bring more things. The previous few times the red hair pirates were just involved. This time Shanks had some ideas. After announcing the news, Chen Fang plunged into the training ground. There are so many abilities integrated in him, but he hasn't been trained properly, especially the Super Saiyan state. For 1 month, Chen Fang was completely immersed in the training. For the training, Chen Fang also specially purchased a spiritual time room to enhance the training effect. Time flies, and a month passes quickly. The Super Saiyan Sage body was perfectly fused together by him. The power far exceeds any of the single action skills, and the effect of 1 + 1 greater than 2 is perfectly achieved. Coupled with Susanoo, even if he simply stands still, there are very few people on this sea who can break his defense. Even if someone can break through the defense and hurt Chen Fang can recover instantly. The attack power of the Super Saiyan alone has already surpassed the level of Pirate World. Chen Fang estimates that only a few people at the TO level can barely compare. But he still has all kinds of ninjutsu and pupil techniques. On this sea, Chen Fang is confident that he is invincible. Although he still doesn't know how strong the 5 elders and the mysterious M are, Chen Fang doesn't believe that the strength of those old guys can surpass his current self. After training, Chen Fang took a comfortable bath, changed into fresh clothes, and opened the door of the auction house. At this time, people were already standing outside the gate, because today is the day when the auction will start. The first ones to come in were the swaggering celestial dragons, all dressed in white and wearing helmets. After Kong's negotiation last time, celestial dragons knew Chen Fang's rules and dared to come to participate in the auction. As long as they don't make trouble, they are safe. Although Chen Fang has a precedent for killing celestial dragons, there are also daring celestial dragons who want to watch the fun. Celestial dragons sat down with a proud posture, looking arrogant, but obviously they also had a sense of proportion and did not ask others to kneel and worship, nor did they ask for special seats. With the entry of celestial dragons, the major forces also entered the field one after another. Wow, the inside is too beautiful, isn't it? Amazing. Oh, Grandpa, the Luffy pirates have arrived and found a seat to sit down. Brat, Garp glanced at Luffy, but this time the 3 admirals were beside him, so he didn't say hello. Several other supernovas also came to the scene one after another. Chen Fang announced that the auction would be held soon, so they all stayed here. Even if there are no resource points, I still want to see the excitement. The auction has finally started. This time our pirate group has earned 100,000 resource points. What must we win? You actually won 100,000. We only got 80,000. Several familiar pirates chatted. This 4.4 zombie world gave those medium-strength pirates a perfect opportunity to earn resource points. They have their own strength and background. Although they can't compare with those big forces, they can still participate if they earn enough resource points. With more than 100,000 resource points, there's every chance to take auction items. Unlike those little pirates, killing zombies is just to earn Bailey. Discussions rang out everywhere, most of which were about earning profits from the zombie world this time. Because they all knew the time of the auction, most of them chose to kill until the last moment before coming out. The whole venue was filled with the smell of blood. But Chen Fang didn't mind. On the contrary, he was very pleased. Akainu, Kizaru, and Akiji were exactly like that, so they dropped in to participate in the auction. Chapter 54. The sensation caused by the auction quota? Raise the price. Raise the price. Marine is out with 3 admirals this time. Last time I saw, Akainu hit a group of zombies with 1 punch. This time Marine definitely earned the most money. I can't agree. The Whitebeard pirates were the first to issue a mission to recruit pirates to kill zombies. And you didn't see Whitebeard do it. He just stood there and shook his fist, and the zombies fell in pieces. Compared to those, Admiral hit faster. Kaido is so fierce. He breathed out a fireball and directly blew up a mountain. The number of zombies is uncountable. None of these big forces revealed the resource points they had obtained. The number of resource points is their secret. As long as they remain mysterious, the chances of getting the lot will be higher. If you let others know your whole cards, then the auction will be too passive. Garp, Whitebeard, and Kaido all looked confident. Obviously, this time the zombie world made them a lot of money, but they didn't know how much they made. Only Chen Fang knows it all. This is the Chen Fang who killed the celestial dragons. I heard he is very strong. There's so many good things. My hands are really itchy. Kid sat in the corner, looking at Chen Fang on the stage with 15 eyes. Captain, don't break the rules. Come here, you'd better be honest. A crew member trembled after hearing Kid's words. They're lawless outside. Even Marine, they don't care at all. I will fight if I get hit, and I will fight if I can't get hit. They have always been known for their cruelty and domineering, and they have not lost all the way. Kid is even more confident in himself. But not all the members of the Kid Pirates are so blind. There are still some people who are very clear-headed. Don't look at Chen Fang's harmless appearance. He doesn't even blink when he kills people. I heard that even Admiral has suffered from him. The crew member continued tremblingly. Humph. Kid didn't speak, but just snorted coldly. Chen Fang can come up with so many unique things. Anyone will have an idea. Although Kid is arrogant and eager to rob Chen Fang, he is not stupid. The 4 emperors are honestly doing tasks here, so it is his turn to rob. His goal is to become a world-renowned great pirate, not an idiot who will be killed at will for breaking the rules at the auction. Welcome, everyone. I haven't seen you for so long. Do you miss me? Chen Fang joked, looking at the glowing faces of everyone present. That's for sure, President. Don't hold back. What's the first auction item? Some audience members couldn't wait to ask. Yeah, miss your good stuff. I'm not. I just want to be the president. The president is so handsome. Chen Fang, I want to give it to you. Some female audience members also started to shout, and Chen Fang was a little embarrassed by the blunt words. Everyone be quiet. The auction will start immediately. Chen Fang waved his hand and grabbed at the void, and everyone closed their mouths very cooperatively. Next, please invite the first lot. I am an employee of the auction house. No matter who wins the auction, they can choose themselves or arrange someone to become my employee. The usual specific job is to host the auction. Every auction, you can get a commission of 10% of the resource points. I will arrange the exact location of the auction, but the price will not change. Of course, being my employee is not the only benefit. In future auctions, I will give him the items in advance, and then my employees will have the opportunity to directly buy his favorite items. Of course, I also have a small request. No matter who it is, it must be strong. At least it must be close to the admiral level. Chen Fang said to everyone, and before anyone asked questions, Chen Fang answered a series of possible questions. This is exactly the good method he thought of last time. Such a good gimmick of the employee must be resolved at the auction. Those who can photograph this thing must be big forces, So Chen Fang is not worried about the strength of the people they send, because the people sent out must be very strong. It's concise and clear. Everyone understands what's going on with the first auction item. As soon as these words came out, there was a sensation in the audience. Becoming an insider of the auction house is something that many people dream of accomplishing. Not to mention that insiders still have the opportunity to directly purchase auction items. This alone has already made those big forces ready to move. The starting price is 5,000, and each price increase must not be lower than the day. Chen Fang didn't set a high price because he knew it was just a virtual item after all, but how much he set the price would not affect his transaction price and enthusiasm in the slightest. 30,000. Some people paid 30,000 without saying a word. Are you going to pay high prices all at once and catch your competitors by surprise? Nami said with a smile. She who gave away a little fortune cat is naturally very familiar with the tricks of this auction. But here in Chen Fang, nothing works, only rich heritage. 50,000, Garp said directly, without any hesitation. There are many people in Marine, and there are many strong people. This position is customized for Marine. Being able to become an insider of the auction house is simply a great honor. Isn't it just a clerk? Is it so popular? Chopper asked, puzzled. This is not an ordinary clerk. This is a clerk from Zhutian Auction House. If the president directly announces the recruitment, the doors here will probably be smashed. Nami said wisely. Father, do you think we should grab it too? We have become the insider 430, and we must be the first to know any news in the future. Ace said to Whitebeard. Being an employee does have great benefits, but he requires strong strength. You're all my sons. I don't allow you to help others outside. Let's forget it. Whitebeard valued feelings and also had rules. After hesitating for a while, he didn't bother with the auction of this employee's identity. Big Mom and Kaido are somewhat interested. After all, everyone knows the benefits. Once Marine opened his mouth, they immediately followed up the price. Kaido, Big Mom, I can't believe you guys are fighting me hard on the first lot. 100,000. Garp's sonorous voice resounded throughout the venue. Hiss, everyone gasped, and it was fine if someone kept asking for a price, but they didn't expect it to reach a high price of 100,000. This is just becoming a subordinate, but it is still so welcome, and the price is so high, there's no sound on the scene for a while. Damn it, it's Marine again. Don't let them succeed. Someone who was present last time deliberately instigated this time. Anyone who has gone through the previous auction knows that everyone is targeting Marine intentionally or unintentionally. 110,000. Sure enough, after being stunned for a moment, a person from a medium-sized force said immediately. Chapter 55. Avoid the side effects of devil fruit. Looting of 4 emperors 110,000 is considered a huge sum for a medium-sized force. But he is willing to let it go. As long as he gets this quota, he will become an internal member of the auction house. At that time, every auction will have a 10% share, which is quite a considerable profit. 120,000, following the asking price of this middle-level force. Many other forces of similar strength also figured out. Kaido and the others were even more uncompromising. The soaring speed did not slow down until after 300,000 yuan, and only a few big forces such as Marine were bidding. Garp looked fearless. They were targeted last time, but it also saved him a lot of resource points. Coupled with the fact that he has made so much money in the zombie world recently, he is now full of confidence. For others, it may be somewhat arbitrary to go all out to win a spot. After all, for most people, getting real benefits is the most important thing. But he represents Marine, and he is not asked to kind of work in person. Just send someone over when the time comes. Whether it is due to his own strength or subsequent development, it is the most perfect situation for him. Kaido and others hesitated after seeing the high price. On the one hand, they didn't want to use a lot of resource points at the beginning, and on the other hand, it was difficult to choose candidates. After all, every strong person is their good partner. After the auction house, they will be under the management of Chen Fang. To put it bluntly, they came to work, but to put it bluntly, their pirate group may have parted ways. But even so, They didn't intend to let Marine win the spot easily. It wasn't until after 500,000 that other voices of competition stopped. Garp looked at Whitebeard and the others with displeased eyes and shouted to the back. These guys were obviously targeting him deliberately, but he couldn't help it. Congratulations to Marine. You won the quota, and I hope that Marine will send someone to report on your work as soon as possible. By the way, just because the quota has been photographed, it doesn't mean that you can take it casually if I'm not satisfied back is to be replaced. Marine photographed it, and Chen Fang was quite satisfied, so he also emphasized it this time. Marine has many masters and is orderly. Although he is not afraid that the people who come will not listen to him, orderly ones are easier to manage. Oh, this candidate is a bit troublesome. Kizara muttered aside. According to what he said, if you want someone with strong strength, he probably needs rear admiral. Akiji continued. I think my CP will organize the staff. I can apply to dispatch a CPO member directly. Sitting with Marine is the person from the world government who came with celestial dragons. At this moment, he immediately thought of this good opportunity to enter the auction house. Using CP to pretend to be Marine and lurking in this place is the perfect plan. It's not being an insider. Do you think Chen Fang won't notice it? I don't want to waste this spot. Garp said jokingly. The world government is still engaging in lurking. This is indeed an opportunity, but it also depends on who the target is. Garp doesn't believe it. These 10 methods are all working for Chen Fang. Why don't you let Momosaji go? She is Admiral's backup. She should be strong enough. Crane said at this time. I think it's okay. Go back and discuss with Sengoku about the details. The second lot is out. Garp smiled and looked up the stage. At this time, Chen Fang took out a box. The second auction item, Purification Gem. This is a good item I specially prepared for demon fruit power. As long as I bring my Purification Gem, the side effects of devil fruit will no longer exist. Swimming in the sea is no longer a dream, and sea stone handcuffs are no longer the shackles. Chen Fang introduced it in a passionate tone. When he heard that the side effects of devil fruit can be blocked, the audience boiled again. What? Directly block the side effects of devil fruit? Isn't that invincible? What's this? Have you forgotten the sacred fruit before? The holy fruit is a holy fruit. This is simply regret medicine. So many regrets after eating devil fruit. Isn't this the right time? Forget it. This kind of thing will definitely be looted by those powerful forces. If Whitebeard gets it, then his strength will be unlimited. It's scary when Kaido got it. At that time, he was truly omnipotent. There were endless discussions, and Luffy and other superstars were also dumbfounded. This time, they personally experienced the wonder of the auction house. The first auction item, just now, was not real, and they hadn't felt it yet. The first thing that was really taken out was that it was able to avoid the side effects of devil fruit, which was simply astonishing. These superstar new captains are all demon fruit power, especially Luffy. If it wasn't for a mistake, how could he have given up swimming? I want it so much. Luffy looked at the gem longingly. Like him, and the three next to Garp, Marine 3 Admiral, all know only the brilliance of their Logia devil fruit, and where would anyone know their longing for the sea? For those who are not very strong, this thing may just let it return to the sea, but for these strong people, it is directly lifted from shackles. Then the sky is high, and the birds are flying, and the sea is wide, and the fish are leaping. The starting price is 10,000 resource points, and the price increase is not less than 1,000 each time. With the sound of Chen Fang's hammer, the scene suddenly became chaotic. The current starting price is basically just a reference. All the way up to 100,000, there is still an endless stream of voices on the field. But this kind of good thing is after all these big shots, and the price has reached 500,000 in an instant. For those without devil fruit ability, this is a waste, but most of the powerhouses present are all demon fruit power. 550,000. Garp said, although he is not, for money, a capable person, but the three people beside him all want this thing. For their marine strength, it is also a very big improvement. 600,000. Whitebeard didn't budge. 800,000. Just when everyone thought it was another fight between Marine and Whitebeard, Big Mom spoke up. Now it reached 800,000. Whitebeard and Garp were stunned. This guy, he's going to lose his fortune for this thing. Garp said speechlessly. Linlin doesn't want to shoot other things. Kaido whispered. They have collected a lot of supplies recently, plus the income from the zombie world. Everyone has over 1 million resource points. Once a good thing is found, it will be a battle between dragons and tigers, and basically you have to fight to the end to get it. Apparently, Big Mom is betting on this gem right now. Chapter 56, Big Mom's Excitement. The intervention of the Straw Hat Pirates after weighing it for a while, the other big forces stopped bidding, and even Garp stopped asking. The Purification Gem successfully fell into the hands of Big Mom. Next is our second auction item, Bug Arrow Pearl Jam. Stop talking nonsense. Please watch the big screen. The screen began to emit the effect of Pearl Jam. In addition to the fragrance that can overflow the screen, the food made from this Pearl Jam can actually heal the dark wounds of the body. Everyone's eyes are shining, and each of them is a person who is struggling on the sea. Although their recovery ability is strong and their physical fitness is very good, their bodies have more or less hidden injuries. And this Pearl Jam is perfect for everyone who needs to fight. Of course, it is more attractive to everyone who loves food, such as Big Mom. After seeing Pearl Jam, Big Mom's eyes almost popped out. "Mom, this is mine too," Big Mom said excitedly. "This is absolutely the best Pearl Jam I've ever seen, even if I haven't tried it yet." Equally excited is Sanjiji of the Straw Hat Pirates. As a master chef, he has an innate sensitivity to this kind of ingredients. "Luffy, how much money do we have?" Originally, he only planned to watch the excitement, but Sanji immediately had that idea. "Sanji, we can't compete with those powerful ones." Before Luffy could speak, Nami replied first. "This Pearl Jam looks delicious. Nami, let's take a picture of it." Asking how much money Luffy has is not equivalent to asking for nothing, but Nami knows it all. "We only have a total of tens of thousands of resource points. What can we use to compete with others?" Nami said angrily. They weren't the pirates who robbed their homes, nor did they kill zombies. Where did they get so many resource points? "Luffy, there are 300,000 resource points here. You use them first." At this moment, Ace came to the Straw Hat Pirates and handed Luffy a ticket to Zombie World. "This is 300,000. Nami's eyeballs turned into money. "Ace." Luffy's eyes lit up. Facing his brother, Luffy was not polite and raised his hand to take it. "Thank you." "Luffy, is this your brother?" "Too rich." Usopp's face was full of excitement, and now he was finally able to participate. Sanji couldn't wait to bid. The faces of the other members of the Straw Hat Pirates were all shocked. They never thought that the Whitebeard Pirates would send them money. The starting price is 10,000, and each increase must not be less than 1,000. It is still the old price, but just after Chen Fang finished speaking, Big Mom's sharp voice couldn't remember again. 100,000! Although this thing is popular, and it is very wonderful, but the price is so high all of a sudden, it does not give small forces a chance to compete. Many small and medium-sized forces thought that their chance had come, but how could they have imagined that Big Mom would not follow the routine at all? "It's over. Big Mom likes sweets the most. She will definitely not let go," Usopp said worriedly. "Don't worry. Let's grind slowly." Nami frowned, but at this moment, Luffy's voice came directly. 200,000. "Luffy, what are you doing? We only have a total of 300,000. Nami stared, shouting, "So rich without money. Isn't this something to do?" Luffy looked innocent. "Oh, isn't there another 100,000? 300,000. Big Mom didn't hesitate at all. Beads of sweat were forming on Sanji's forehead, and now there was no room for them to rise. "What's the situation? This is just the beginning. How come it's 300,000? I didn't raise my hand." Some forces who wanted to raise the price with a sign were all dumbfounded. The starting price was only 10,000, and it reached 300,000 in just 2 bids. It didn't even participate. BFCG. Now I want to participate, but I dare not participate. This price is completely controlled by their budget for this auction item. Of course, all chefs have an irresistible temptation to this. But chefs have no money. "Sorry, brother. I can only sponsor so much." Ace spread his hands to Luffy, and there were auction items behind them. They, the Whitebeard Pirates, needed to compete with several other big forces, and they could only come up with 300,000 yuan. Forget it. Let's Marine not participate. Garp made an embarrassed look on purpose, then took out a ticket and handed it to Marine, an attendant beside him. This is for you from Vice Admiral Garp. Little Marine obediently handed the ticket to Luffy. Although he didn't know why Garp did this, he could only do it. Luffy, it's your grandpa. Your grandpa sent money too, Usopp said excitedly. They had met not long ago, so it wasn't too shocking that Garp sent the money. Thank you, Grandpa. Luffy dangled the ticket directly at Garp. Garp's eyebrows twitched. He didn't deliver it himself. Wasn't it just to avoid publicity? He deliberately pretended to be ignorant, looking at Chen Fang on the stage. The people on the side didn't think much about it, and those who already knew didn't say much. The old man can't help it after all. Ace looked in Garp's direction and smiled. 400,000. After having the money, Luffy called Fu without ambiguity. Usopp covered Luffy's mouth. Luffy, slow down. 450,000. At this price, Big Mom slowed down. She is indeed extremely fanatical, but she is still sober now. She just spent 800,000 yuan just now, and now her resources are almost bottomed out. 500,000. Sanji said this time. Big Mom didn't add another 100,000, and it was obviously reaching the limit. Don't add any more. Save some for us. Nami began to pray. Garp only sent 200,000, plus they had to use their own money. The price increase of the Straw Hat Pirates finally moved a Big Mom Pirates. Originally, Big Mom thought it was a little pirate dying, but he didn't expect to yell at him to such an extent. In the eyes of many people, this thing is not worth 500,000. Big Mom couldn't help tilting his head and looked at Luffy with a displeased face. Although he didn't do it deliberately, his aura at this time and the people around him were so scared that they didn't dare to look up. And Luffy also watched, with no fear in his eyes. On the contrary, there was a relaxed and happy smile on his face. Ahem, Big Bang was not obvious, so Chen Fang didn't say it directly and coughed twice as a warning. Big Mom turned her head. She almost used Conqueror's Haki just now. She wasn't crazy, but she didn't dare to confront Chen Fang head-on. Chapter 57. One move to suppress the 4 emperors. Auction items that bring the dead back to life, 600,000. This time, Big Mom's tone became more solemn, not as relaxed as before. Obviously, adding 100,000 directly this time is to force the Straw Hat Pirates back, and it means that she has reached her limit. Hey, Sanji, I think we should give up and save more money next time. Maybe there are similar ones. Usopp sighed. At this point, there was really no other way. Who would have thought that a jam could fetch such a high price? We all know that Big Mom likes to eat sweets the most. How dare the Straw Hat Pirates compete with her? Last time I heard by chance that Big Mom didn't eat enough sweets one day, so he went crazy and smashed an island. The Straw Hat Pirates dare to rob them. Is this a supernova? How dare you? At this point, no one has participated in the bidding, and everyone is watching the excitement. Looks like I still need Big Brother's help. Among the crowd of the Revolutionary Army, Sabo pressed his hat, stood up very low-key, and walked to Luffy. Add directly. Sabo handed Luffy a ticket and said softly, "This is..." The members of the Straw Hat Pirates were stunned again when they saw the strange face. Why are people still sending the money now? Thank you. Luffy took it unceremoniously and then shouted, 700,000. As soon as the price came out, the audience was in an uproar. How could this Straw Hat Pirate compete with 4 Emperors Big Mom to such an extent? Everyone was shocked, but more people were excited. Most of the people here are people from small and medium forces, and there has never been anyone like the Straw Hat Pirates who can face up to the big forces. A fledgling supernova was able to grab the lot in the hands of 4 emperors, which can only be described as awesome. Sure enough, when the price came out, Big Mom fell silent. She wanted it so badly that she couldn't raise the price anymore. Big Mom even regretted taking pictures of the purification gems. Sweets are her life. During the time when Big Mom was silent, Chen Fang had completed the countdown, and finally Pearl Jam was successfully captured by the Straw Hat Pirates. Sanji couldn't believe it until he got it. He really wanted it fervently, but he also knew the difficulty of fighting against the 4 emperors. But who would have thought that Luffy, the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, has such a strong background. Damn it. Although Big Mom is silent, but also the anger is constantly hitting. Take a step back. The more you think about it, the more angry you get. Big Mom's eyes turned red when she thought of the delicious taste that she couldn't try. Jam, I want delicious jam. Big Mom started to roar. His whole body exploded, and a gust of wind centered on her and swept away towards the surroundings. Not good. Mom is going crazy. Chef, hurry up and prepare sweets. The god tiers next to Big Mom panicked, and Katakuri's expression changed drastically. The Big Mom pirates started to stop them in a hurry. At this time, Big Mom was already madly heading towards the Straw Hat Pirates. This guy, people with mental problems, are trouble. Standing on the stage, Chen Fang shook his head helplessly. He knew that Big Mom's sudden madness was not an active violation of the rules. Of course, if you break the rules, you will be punished, and it has nothing to do with being active or passive. Big Mom's momentum rose sharply, but the people who were familiar with the auction house did not panic at all, and all of them sat there with calm faces, because they saw Chen Fang raise his hand. Sure enough, at the second step Big Mom took, she began to float in midair, and then she slammed heavily towards the wall. Boom! Only a loud noise was heard, and Big Mom's huge body was embedded in the wall. For the sake of Charlotte Lean's illness, the Big Mom pirates can continue to participate in the auction. Chen Fang spoke calmly, but the Big Mom was already embedded on the wall, seemingly extremely manic, but actually unable to move. Even though I've seen it before, I still have to say, Chen Fang really pervert. This is the four emperors. I just raised my hand and controlled her. It's too fierce. That's amazing. Seeing this hand, Luffy's entire neck stretched forward a few meters. Although many people present have seen Chen Fang's shot, there's still a large number of them who have not seen it, such as these supernovas. Kid never believed the rumors. Originally, he planned to plan carefully to see if he could rob Chen Fang. But now he's all there. This is Big Mom, the legitimate four emperors, one of the emperors of the New World, and the nightmare of many pirates. This kind of existence, being hit by Chen Fang, will be hit on the wall and unable to move. No matter how confident Kid was, he started to panic now and understood how stupid his previous thoughts were. It's amazing. I want to invite him to join the Straw Hat Pirates. Luffy was still in shock, but also extremely excited. Stop dreaming. Don't say such things. Nami stayed aside. It's okay for Luffy to stay in a daze, but now he dares to have this kind of thought. If he accidentally offends Chen Fang, his entire pirate group will be gone with a wave of his hand. Luffy, he can't go with us, Zoro said in a deep voice. Really? Luffy blinked his big eyes and didn't continue to speak, but he didn't know if he listened or not. It's really scary, Kizaru couldn't help but said. His drooping eyes still looked at the two people beside him. Akainu and Akiji immediately returned a warning look, signaling Kizaru not to mention the past. I heard that Marine Admiral also made trouble a few times ago, and Akiji and Akainu were also subdued by one move. Chen Fang is definitely the strongest existence on the sea, and Whitebeard is probably not his opponent. They didn't mention it, but the people who watched the excitement were all very excited. Isn't it? And the Celestial Dragons, they just disappeared. I still watch myself die. Speaking of these, there are voices of gloating everywhere. Normally, they wouldn't dare to think about it, but in this auction house, in front of Celestial Dragons, these people dare to discuss it recklessly. After Celestial Dragons heard this, his face turned blue and white, but when he thought of all the previous deeds, he could only grit his teeth and endure it. The Heavens Auction House is the freest place for these pirates under the rules. Okay, next, it's our last lot. It's what I said before, the fetish that can bring people back to life rebirth cross. As long as the deceased has been dead for less than a week and has a good body, the cross of rebirth can bring him back to life. The function is very simple. I believe that I don't need to introduce more. As for the authenticity of my auction house's products, I believe everyone can see it. Not much nonsense. The starting price is 100,000 resource points, and each increase must not be less than 10,000. Chapter 58 Reborn on the Cross. Momosaji is a servant, taking care of the living room and warming the bed. Is there such a thing in the world? Garp murmured in disbelief. As Chen Fang said, the integrity of the auction house is beyond doubt. No one would doubt the auction house's products, but this is something that can bring people back to life, which is really unbelievable. The items from this auction house are getting more and more terrifying. Whitebeard couldn't help but admire. So far, whether it is the sacred fruit, the blood bodhi, or the fairy bean, all the major forces are crazy about it. And now, there is such a fetish that directly brings people back to life. When Chen Fang said something that could bring people back to life, everyone thought it was some magical medicine. But Chen Fang just exaggerated his word a bit. Now it seems that Chen Fang is not exaggerating at all. This Chen Fang, could it be that 260 is a god? This auction house was established by a god. Usopp's eyes were wide open, and he trembled when he spoke. Almost all the audience present were like this, with exaggerated expressions, beyond shock. This is something that can bring people back to life. Can people live after death? Now they really can. The real battle is about to begin. Whitebeard's deep eyes released light. This kind of fetish, any power wants to get it. 300,000, 40,000, 700,000. The price soared all the way, and the major forces competed to bid. Except for the Big Mom pirates, the rest of the faces were depressed, and the other big forces were all red-faced. 1 million. Whitebeard raised the price to new heights. The battlefield shrunk again, and once again became a struggle between these big forces. 1.1 million. Sabo pushed up. At this price, Garp was in a daze. According to this trend, it must continue to rise, but he has reached the limit. Hundreds of thousands have just been spent, while Whitebeard and Kaido haven't spent a penny. 1.3 million. Kaido said coldly. He didn't grab it much before. He was just waiting for this thing to appear. Garp, how many are left on Marine's side? Give me all of them. The Cross of Rebirth Celestial Dragons are wanted. On the world government side, the steward next to Celestial Dragons approached Garp directly. 2 million. At the same time, Celestial Dragons opened their mouths directly. He brought a lot of resource points with him when he came here, and now with the ones in Garp's hands, he can completely ask for a price. As soon as the price was announced, the audience was silent. It's not because of the identity of the Celestial Dragons, but the price is already skyrocketing. Now is not the time to exchange Bailey for resource points. The 2 million at this time is much more valuable than the 2 million at that time. 1 million. Kaido paused and continued to increase the price. This price is already the price he can offer in conjunction with Katakuri. Oh, it's destined to be missed. Sabo shook his head. There was really nothing they could do about the world government's intrusion. 2.5 million. When it comes to wealth, who in the world can beat Celestial Dragons? Especially now, combined with the resource points Marine has accumulated over this period of time, the Celestial Dragons are even more arrogant. At this time, Whitebeard was silent, and Kaido was also speechless. 2.5 million. Deal. Chen Fang was also unambiguous, and he paid the money with one hand and the goods with the other hand. Everyone, this auction is over. Don't be discouraged if you haven't bought it. There will be many opportunities in the future. Welcome to the zombie world to earn resource points. But I also have to remind everyone that there may be people from other worlds participating in the auction next time, and the competition will definitely be more intense. So everyone needs to step up in order to motivate these people to promote One Piece World. Chen Fang also revealed some news in advance. All of a sudden, the audience was boiling again. People from other worlds? Aren't there only zombies? Idiot, didn't the first auction item say that it would go to another world to host the auction? Chen Fang must have entrances to other worlds here. What will people in other worlds look like? Will they be very strong? Do people in another world look the same as us? Have noses and eyes? Everyone was talking in a hurry. Because of the zombie world, it is quick to accept other worlds. But for people in other worlds, everyone is very curious. The competition is getting stronger again. It seems that the three of you don't need to go back. Please tell Momosaji to come to work. We'll be living in the zombie world for a while. Garp ordered. This time, I will personally kill the zombies. Jin, you go to collect supplies from all over the world. Everyone else will follow the holy corpse. Kaido, who has always disdained to do it himself, now also decides to go to the zombie world. With more urgency and anticipation for the next auction, everyone left the auction house. As soon as they went out, most of the people rushed directly into the zombie world. The next day, Momosaji, who received the order, came to the auction house on time to report. Report to President Chen Fang, my next Momosaji, come to idle work. Looking at the tall, glamorous, and hot beauty in front of him, Chen Fang's eyes lit up. This Garp is quite sensible. He knows how to find a beautiful woman to come over. It's not bad for him to look good. Chen Fang pondered in his heart, still with a kind smile on his face. She's also a big beauty and a quasi-admiral. Chen Fang is getting more and more satisfied the more she looks at it. The appearance and strength are not bad. Your knife is not bad, but if there's a chance, I will give you a better one. Looking at the Kimpiro on Momosaji's waist, Chen Fang said casually. Momosaji's eyes moved slightly, but she knew that the unique Zanpakutō of Tiantian Auction House is not only the highest quality, but also has special functions. Almost every swordsman wants to own one. Thanks, I haven't sent you yet. It depends on your ability to work. Come with me first. 5-point Chen Fang made a casual move, and a door of light appeared in front of him. Except for the different color of the door from the zombie world, it looks the same. Momosaji has also killed zombies for a while, so it is no surprise that she has crossed two worlds. Momosaji followed Chen Fang calmly and walked over. Unlike the zombie world, this time she walked out and arrived at another auction house. Let's go outside and have a look. Let's talk as we go. Chen Fang took Momosaji out of the auction house. Coincidentally, it was dark. Looking at the strange scene around, Momosaji knows that this is a world with real people. This is the Ghost Slayer world. It's different from Pirate World. People here mainly practice breathing, swordsmanship, and physical skills, and the ghosts here have special abilities. What? Ghost? Chapter 59, Momosaji trembling. Chen Fang like a big bad wolf. Ghosts are immortal. Powerful creatures transformed from human beings in this world, eager to eat human flesh and blood. Chen Fang looked at the bright moon in the sky and said to Momosaji, they have an ability called Blood Ghost, and most ghosts will move at night, but this kind of ghost is not a big threat to you. Vampire? Listening to Chen Fang's words, Momosaji was still a little confused. After all, she hadn't seen the ghosts in this world, so she couldn't have a concrete idea about it. Chen Fang didn't care about Momosaji's reaction either. With a single move, a contract appeared in his hand. If you want to become an employee of my auction house, then you need to sign this contract. With that said, Chen Fang handed over the contract to Momosaji. There are not many regulations above, but they are all for the protection of the auction house. After all, things like there is an insider terminate the transaction. Chen Fang does not want to happen. Momosaji took over the contract ignorantly and carefully read the above regulations. Although she was sent to the auction house for 15 posts, Momosaji still did not forget where she belonged in her heart. But after reading the contract regulations, Mion frowned. You must know that Marine took the auction house employee quota and sent her here in order to obtain some news about the auction house through himself, or run it yourself, and sell some things to Marine at a low price. But obviously, these possible operations have been considered by the unfathomable man in front of him. The contract regulations clearly stated that it is not allowed to disclose the news of the auction house. Whether it is the auction item or the auction house staff, it is also strictly forbidden to sell goods at low prices. Looking at these regulations, Jumping Rabbit couldn't help but look up at the handsome young man in front of him. But Chen Fang just looked at himself quietly, and there seemed to be a faint smile on the corner of his mouth, as if he was not worried at all if he didn't sign. Momosaji sighed in his heart. Indeed, he had no way not to sign. Even if he couldn't disclose the news of the auction house and couldn't benefit Marine from it, Marine would definitely force him to stay here. Because as long as they break into the interior by themselves, it is beneficial to them. Momosaji bit her finger and pressed it on the contract. The contract exuded a faint golden light. Suddenly, the entire contract turned into two balls of golden light. One ball fell into Chen Fang's hands, and the other ball rushed into Momosaji's body. Well, Momosaji let out a muffled snort, and the position where the golden light entered was a little stuffy, which made her feel a little uncomfortable. Chen Fang dispersed the golden mang in his hand, turning it into light particles and blending into his body. Looking at Momosaji's uncomfortable face, Chen Fang's expression was indifferent. "Welcome aboard, Momosaji." Listening to Chen Fang's words, Momosaji forced a smile, but her heart sank. She felt that she was being restricted in both behavior and speech, and she was sure that if she violated the contract regulations, she would end badly. "President Chen, what do I need to do next?" Momosaji's psychological endurance is still very good. After understanding her situation, she quickly adjusted her mentality and put herself as an employee of Tiantian Auction House. With his hands in his pockets, Chen Fang looked up at the moon in the sky. "The moonlight is beautiful and the wind is cool. Take a good rest today, and when work comes, I will tell you what you need to do." Chen Fang waved his hand, turned, and walked into the auction house. Ghost Mies still has a lot of resources, and he needs to plan well. Ghost Dance Suji No Misery, 9 Pillars. Chen Fang walked in front, thinking about how the world of Ghost Slayer would develop, and Momosaji followed behind with a complicated expression. Now her thoughts are a little confused, and she doesn't know what to do next. All the way to the monitoring room, Chen Fang opened the door and walked in with Momosaji. Here it is. Looking at the display screens in front of him, Momosaji looked at Chen Fang in a daze. This is the observation area, which allows you to observe what is happening in every part of the world. Chen Fang explained blankly. After all, for a native of the pirate world like Momosaji, satellite monitoring is difficult to understand. So, Chen Fang simply explained the functions of the monitoring area in the most easy-to-understand terms. Look, Chen Fang was operating the satellite surveillance, and the screen showed the action images of a team of benefactors. These people are the human beings in this world that I told you earlier. Their identities are called the Ghost Killing Squad, which is a team formed to hunt and kill the ghosts in this world. Chen Fang shifted the monitoring to a location not far from the Ghost Killing Squad, and a ferocious-looking ghost appeared on the video. This is a ghost. You can see it from its appearance. It is still very different from human beings. Chen Fang looked at Momosaji. As an employee of the auction house, you also need to have the most basic understanding of this world. I will only tell you once now. You have to remember it well. Hearing Chen Fang's words, Momosaji remained silent, but her attention was extremely concentrated for fear that she might miss some important information. The Demon Killing Squad is an ancient organization with hundreds of members that has not been recognized by the government, but has existed for a long time. Its members are usually called ghost hunters. In the ghost killing team, what we need to pay attention to is the leader of the ghost killing team and the pillars of the ghost killing team. 9 pillar level members. They're also worthy customers of our auction house. Chen Fang paused and continued. As for the information of the members of the pillar class, this is used as a test of your ability, and it is up to you whether you can collect it or not. Momosaji nodded, subconsciously clenched her fists, but this sudden test did not make Momosaji flinch. On the contrary, she felt an inexplicable sense of fighting spirit burning in her chest. Chen Fang had a panoramic view of Momosaji's reaction, and he was affirmed in his heart. The vase sent by Garp was indeed not a waste vase, which made Chen Fang very satisfied. As for ghosts, you will also collect this information. Simply put, Chen Fang only saw the basic situation of the world and the general description of the 2 camps and the specific information, all of which were regarded as a test for Momosaji and handed over to the other party. Then, as an employee of the auction house, I will tell you next your authority within the auction house. As Chen Fang said, he flipped his right hand and an auction invitation letter appeared in his hand. The employees of the auction house can send invitation letters to customers. They only need to draw up the customers to be sent in the auction house, and the invitation letters will be sent out automatically. In addition, as an employee of the auction house, you also have some privileges that you cannot enjoy. Chen Fang said calmly. As an employee, Momosaji has no way to experience the invincible ability in the auction house. This is also a kind of protection for Chen Fang. After all, if Marine finds out about it, maybe he will move something wrong. That's about it. Tomorrow, you start to think of ways to complete your work. Disband. Chen Fang looked at Momosaji with a smile, looked at her nodding in agreement, then turned and left slowly. Chen Fang put away his smile, and his face returned to calm. Chapter 60. Tidy up the harvest. Open up Hokage world coordinates. After Momosaji left, Chen Fang began to sort out the harvest of this auction. If nothing else, the harvest this time is enough for him to open another branch in the world. Sure enough, just as Chen Fang was about to see the harvest this time, he heard about Xiao Bai. Because host's income from this auction has reached a new high, it has obtained the authority of a new branch, and 3 million resource points have activated the second branch. Chen Fang was happy 1 second, but he had a bitter face the next second. Xiao Bai, why did the branch store increase the price this time? It would cost 3 million yuan at once, which made Chen Fang very sad, but with more branches, he could attract more customers and earn more. This is a choice. Although Chen Fang is reluctant, he still knows how he should choose. Host, the world the branch opened this time is Hokage Ninja World. Hokage Ninja has a lot of resources, so the charges will be more expensive. Hearing Xiao Bai's words, Chen Fang was a little surprised. He thought that like last time, he would not know the world of the branch store until the payment was deducted and the branch store was built, but this time he told himself directly. Hokage Ninja World. Chen Fang's mind immediately flashed innumerable ninjutsu, blood succession limit, and other things that could be exchanged for resource points in the Hokage world. If the auction house is opened in this world, it will definitely be a safe profit for him, not bad. Xiao Bai, let's open a branch. Chen Fang chose to open a branch without hesitation. The process is already very familiar. After accepting the instruction, Xiao Bai directly took away 3 million resource points from Chen Fang to start building a new branch. The time is still 5 minutes. Chen Fang also took advantage of the fact that the branch store was not yet completed, so he checked the rewards after the auction. Seeing the reward, Chen Fang was a little surprised. He never expected it to be this. Super Soldier Serum X1. Time Gem plus 3.5 million resource point dividends. The 2 items from the Marvel Universe must have greatly improved Chen Fang's strength. Chen Fang has a Scion bloodline. This bloodline understands everything, and the upper limit is extremely high. Basically, it is a bug bloodline that will always become stronger as long as immune to death. The Super Soldier Serum is not dispensable for Chen Fang, but greatly raises his lower limit, which can greatly improve the strength of Chen Fang, who has not experienced many life-and-death battles so far. As for the Time Gem, it goes without saying that manipulating time can be more perverted than manipulating space. Chen Fang used the Super Soldier Serum without hesitation, and a mysterious feeling permeated Chen Fang's body. Chen Fang let out a muffled snort, as if his body had broken some shackles, and automatically entered the First Order Scion stage. It's so strong. Chen Fang clenched his fists, feeling a burst of satisfaction with the continuous strength emerging from his body. This feeling of getting stronger quickly is really addictive. The Scion state disappeared, but the strength in his body was still strong. Compared with his previous strength, Chen Fang felt that he could fight one with one hand with his current strength. Now, I have stepped into the ranks of the strong. Chen Fang closed his eyes contentedly. The Hokage world has no worries about him at all. If he wanted to, all the people in the ninja world combined would not be his opponent. But fighting is not his style. The most important thing is to grasp these customers. The more customers, the more the auction will earn. The more the auction will earn, the more he will gain ding. The construction of the branch is over, and the host can go through the world shuttle door to the branch venue of Hokage Ninja World. 5 minutes passed quickly, and Xiao Bai also introduced energetically. At the same time, a door of light appeared in front of Chen Fang, and Chen Fang walked towards it calmly. I don't know what time period the current Hokage world is in. It's better to be in the time period before Shippuden, Big Fish. There are many customers, so I can make a lot of money. Chen Fang thought in his heart while stepping on the door, The familiar light flickered. The scene in front of him, time and space were constantly changing, and he didn't know if it was due to the increase in strength. Chen Fang seemed to feel some space reaction when breaking through time and space. Although everything happened in an instant, when Chen Fang walked out of the portal, the scene in front of him was not the familiar auction venue. Xiaobai appeared beside Chen Fang out of thin air, and he was not surprised by the scene in front of him. What's going on, Xiaobai? Chen Fang frowned and looked at Xiaobai beside him. He remembered the last branch venue of Ghost Slayer. He also passed through the portal, but the place he arrived at was still inside the auction house. But this time, when he came out of the portal, there was a dense, white fog in front of him. The surrounding environment vaguely tells Chen Fang that he seems to be on a bridge, because Chen Fang smelled a very strong, salty smell of sea water that is unique to the seaside. Go back to the host. This time travel is to teleport the location immediately. And if the host wants to go back to the auction house, he only needs to say return in his heart, and the portal to the auction house will appear. Xiaobai replied very honestly. The strength of the host has become stronger. It thinks that the host should not continue to hang around in the auction house, and it is very important to go out if necessary. Chen Fang is very smart, so he quickly realized Xiaobai's good intentions in such an arrangement. He was a little moved, but also a little helpless. After all, the ninja world is still very big. Xiaobai teleported himself to an unfamiliar place. It was difficult for him to find a direction. However, for now, fog, bridges, sea breeze. Chen Fang's location should be in a country close to the sea, such as the land of water and the land of waves. As long as the location is determined, the next actions will be much easier. But at this moment, Chen Fang suddenly heard a sound like thousands of birds singing in unison, and his attention was immediately attracted. In the thick fog, there seemed to be a blue ray of light looming, and the sound of birds chirping came from the direction of that ray. Hokage birds chirping blue. When all kinds of conditions came together, Chen Fang's mind immediately flashed a famous ninjutsu minister, Chidori. And under the conditions of dense fog plus Chidori, this is the first sea-level mission that Kakashi's 7th Squad goes out of the village. Nano Kuni bridge-building mission. At this moment, the bird song disappeared, and a faint smell of blood floated into Chen Fang's nostrils. Chen Fang's perception is released, and everything that happens in front of him is in his eyes. Hatake Kakashi unleashes Raikiri towards Zabu, who is restrained by the ninja dog, showing his killing intent. But just when Raikiri was about to pierce Zabu Jean, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Zabu Jean, blocking the fatal blow for Zabu Jean. The one who blocked this blow was Zabuzin's follower Bai. Blood slowly flowed from the corner of Bai's mouth, but his eyes were extremely firm, a look that could give up everything for loyalty. No more thinking about it. After seeing Bai blocked the fatal move, he subconsciously swung the beheading sword and slashed at Kayaka, who was collecting money. This change also made Kakashi pull out his arm in astonishment, and quickly retreated to avoid Zabuzin's angry knife, holding kunai in his hand and watching Zabuzin, who was holding Bai into his arms vigilantly. The dense fog slowly dispersed, and the scene in front of him was exactly the same as in the animation. Chen Fang couldn't help clapping his hands. Chen Fang's sudden applause, whether it's Hatake Kakashi or looking at Bai's complicated thoughts, all take a few steps back vigilantly, especially if Taudi is not cut again and he has not recovered from Bai's death. Chen Fang's interruption.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.